Welcome to the big show. It is Friday night, and we're here with the Horror Syndicate live. We're going to talk about a little bit of news, but the main topic, we're going to talk about collecting VHS tapes and things we may have missed out on, things we wish we had maybe. Nate's gotten like balls deep back into collecting VHS. So Nate's with us tonight, oddly on a Friday night. Nate, how you doing tonight?
I'm good.
You can see that VHS collection behind him. And our dear friend Seth T. Miller is here as well. Seth, how are we doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. I still eating my pizza. Ooh, pepperoni. So, yeah. What do we got on the docket for news tonight? Any good horror news? Oh,
yeah. There was a couple things from today. First one was about some casting for the Chucky TV show, which I don't know if we've talked about how we feel about a Chucky TV show. But
I have stated that I'm not.
Devin Sawa has been cast. What's that?
I'm not really a fan of the idea, but whatever. You know.
Yeah.
We do want to know what people out there think. Also, if you're excited about a Chucky show or not. Alex is with us as always. All right. Who's cast?
Devin Sawa.
Oh right, yeah. I saw you sent that to us. Devin Sawa. The bromance continues.
I think he's going to be playing twins in the movie or in the show.
Really?
Yeah. So
I haven't seen much from him in a few years. When was the last time he did something?
He had something I think come out this year. I believe it was called like Hunter x Hunter. And then before that, he was in that John Travolta movie, The Fanatic.
I did not see that one.
Yeah, I haven't seen either of them either. But
I'm not a huge fan of Devin Sawa, so oddly enough, I'm not a fan of Idle Hands. I'm one of few who isn't a big fan of that one.
Yeah, I think the only thing I remember liking was he was an SLC Punk, wasn't he?
Was he?
Was he?
I think so.
I don't remember.
Maybe not. Could be
The
wrong.
only person that sticks out in that is Matthew Lillard.
We had Jason Segel too, playing the nerd dude, and that.
Yeah.
I think Devin's in it. It's like he's like a drug addict, if I remember right.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. I haven't seen that movie since the 90s.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Anybody can confirm it.
Yeah.
What else? He was in something big though, like before. Oh, Final Destination.
Yeah.
Forgot about that. So you mean the Child's Play? Do we know any details on the Child's Play series? Is it going to run like multiple seasons, or do we know anything at all about it?
I'm not sure if it's going to be, if there's going to be more seasons or if it's a limited event.
I hope it's limited.
So I know that Don Mancini is talking about continuing on with doing movies as well. But like this one, like they gave a little bit of a like synopsis with this one, and I'm not prepared for tonight, so I didn't remember too much about it. It's like it's a small town.
Yeah.
And a good guy doll shows up at a yard sale, and stuff starts to happen. And allegedly, it's going to have something to do with Chucky's origin, which I don't understand because we've already gotten a Chucky origin. We got, what we saw in the first Child's Play, but then there was also in Curse of Chucky, there was that revelation that showed a little bit of his background as well.
Yeah.
I mean, if they want to get rid of the whole Voodoo for Dummies bullshit, I'm on board for that.
I mean, I like the series. I just don't understand why a show when the films work for the most part. What's the other news?
Steven Spielberg hired the Duffer Brothers from Stranger Things to do an adaptation of The Talisman, book from Stephen King and Peter Straub.
I've never read that.
It's actually a really good book. It's probably one of my favorites. There's a lot of like fantasy elements to it. So it's like this 12-year-old boy. I think his mom's dying of cancer or something like that. And he can go in between different worlds. And in this other world, his mom's a queen. and there's like people with powers, and along the way he meets someone named Wolf, who's pretty much like a werewolf, who's kind of like
that's why you like it.
Yeah, no, it's actually a really good book. I would strongly recommend it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What else? Any other news?
Candyman's getting a documentary.
I like the way you pronounce that.
It's like
you said
there's one and a half good films in that.
Hey, you know what? I bought was it called Day of the Dead? Is that the last one?
Yeah.
I bought that and never opened it on DVD. And I'm talking back in the dawn of DVD. I still have it wrapped in the same shrink wrap for when I got it. So
I rented I rented the VHS like when it came out.
That's what I did too.
I don't even know if I finished it.
Yeah, I mean I prefer I do like Farewell to the Flesh. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Not quite what Bernard Rose wanted to do, but you know.
Right, exactly.
It works for me. Nate, what about you? Do you like those? Remember them? That's a better question, probably.
Just Candyman, the series. I've only seen the first two. I remember liking Farewell to the Flesh, but it's been, I don't know, 25 years since I saw it.
You know, every time I hear somebody say it's been and then pause, I want to say 1 week since you looked at me.
Yeah.
I don't like that song, but anyway. So Nate has been getting like really deep into buying VHS tapes.
Most of them I already had. Like I said, I back in the 90s, that was my collection, and I held out for a long time on moving to DVD. I think it was like
you were able to keep your collection from the 90s for real?
What?
You were able to keep all your stuff from the 90s?
Yeah, they were all sitting in the garage in the basement, and in some in my closet up in my studio. And after we moved, and I went to unfortunately we just lost our family video. They all closed, and I was up there. It was the last day. I'm friends with the manager. She actually let us film at her house on this new film, and so she wrote me up and said, "Hey, do you want any of these posters we got?" She gave me like a poster from Horns that they had like in the back room, and but when I went up there, they were like every movie was 50 cents. So I went up there and got a bunch of DVDs, but she had all these racks laying out there from what they put the movies on, and they were $10 a piece. And I said, "Any of those left?" She goes, "Well, just these small ones." I'm like, "Well, that's the only one I can get in my basement anyway." Yeah. So I said, "I'll take one of those." So then I said, "I've been wanting for a long time, ever since I went to a couple years ago when I was out in LA. Some people know this, out in Burbank, they had that Slashback video thing, and I got to go in there and check it out, and it was just really cool. It just immediately just felt like the old days, and I said I'd love to do that in the basement somewhere, like just have my favorite movies on some old school racks on VHS. And somewhere I lost some, because a lot of the ones I'm buying again I just don't know where they're at. So luckily they're pretty cheap. But yeah, now that I have something to display them on, I want to go full 80s. Like this section of my home theater is vintage 1930s to 1960s era of Hollywood. And I'm like, you know what I'm going to do with my movie collections on this side of it, with my DVDs and Blu-rays. And it's like, I'll have this little rack with VHS, and I'll go full 80s over here. And I'll swap the Mummy poster and the old Dark House poster for something 80s, and then just kind of, go the full 9 eventually on it. But it's just at this point, early stages.
Yeah, I can see some of the stuff you got. That old blockbuster, Night of the Living Dead. I see Jason Lives.
Yeah.
Is that Jaws, or is that is that the sequel?
That's Jaws. Yeah, Shining, Texas Chainsaw. Here's a cool one. This is a cover that used to scare the shit out of me. Company of Wolves.
Oh wow!
I remember seeing that one. Yeah, I had this one in the collection in the cases. I have
I've never seen that before.
I'm really kind of like bummed I can't find, like, I had a rare Hills Have Eyes that Michael Berryman said he'd never seen it. It's autographed by Michael. And then I have the first time Romero back in 98, 99. I got him to sign Dawn of the Dead, and I can't find it anywhere.
Ooh.
So yeah, it blows.
Yeah, those are two pieces that are definitely you need to find. I wonder where they are.
They're somewhere in this house.
Maybe in the closet with all your art.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I cut my teeth on. Like I said in the chat, in horror, I would go to. It was Hollywood Video is what we had here. We had Blockbuster and I can't remember the other big chain, Family Video eventually, but yeah, I would go up there and we'd get 10 horror movies for $10 on a Friday night. Me and my brother would, and you kept them for 5 days. So that's how it worked. And then they'd sell them previously viewed, for a couple bucks. I told the story about Jeepers Creepers. I know I didn't know anything about Victor, whatever his name is, going into seeing it. But I remember going to Walmart because I worked 3 jobs when I was 20, and I'd get off at like 6 in the morning or 5 in the morning at 1. I'd run to Walmart and see if I could find any, VHSs to buy. And I remember distinctly getting Jeepers Creepers because it actually creeped me out when I watched it. So yeah, man, my collection was pretty vast, and it's all gone now. I'm very disappointed that I basically left it with my brother, and he left it behind wherever he was living at the time. So I do have Jaws. It's a double tape of Jaws.
Yeah.
Titanic, oddly enough. But man, I love my collection. I had every release of A Nightmare on Elm Street. The cool thing was my Freddy's Dead. My Freddy's Dead was a rental tape from Schnucks, which is a shopping chain here, a grocery store, and it had the Be Kind Rewind sticker on the tape, not like on the tape, but it was pretty cool. I miss those. Hey, Brad, how you doing? See, somebody remembers the video.
I had I have like 3 VHS copies of Nightmare because that's how much. Like I have
I had 2.
When the widescreen version was released, I've got that.
Was that the double?
No, the double's this one here, which I got displayed, which is the one that has like all the deleted scenes and.
Is it the one that opens
everything? Up? It doesn't open up.
Oh, you don't have to open up. There was one that I had that there was like a panel that.
Oh, it does. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It has the. This is from Anchor Bay.
Yep.
1996, and it has like all the deleted alternate scenes and alternate takes and work print stuff. So yeah. We had Hollywood Video. The one I remember going to a lot.
Your camera turned.
Oh, did it? The one I had in the 80s, I remember going to a lot, was Video Vault.
Oh, that's
I don't know if you guys had that one. We had Video Vault. It was kind of a chain, and there was Red Giraffe Video, and we had Hollywood Video was. There was another one too. I remember there was one that went out of business, and I bought like a shit ton of VHS when they went out of business. It's like probably early 90s, mid 90s. But yeah, I mean, the whole thing, this topic came about because someone shared a TikTok video of a guy turned his basement into a 80s video store. And I thought about Slashback Video, and I was like, and every time I see someone do that, there's always this emphasis on the horror side. It's always horror fans. And so I thought about that. I think a big part of when you hear people talk about going to the video store, there's always some point where they say, and we went to that horror section. We couldn't wait to get to the horror section. So I think I'm sure there's a lot of people across the board who are VHS nostalgic, but there just seems to be the ones who are really obsessed with it are the horror fans, because that was the thing. Like you would go to the horror section and you would rent everything. You go to that mom and pop place, like you'd make your way through that entire section. And,
absolutely.
And so I think there's like this special love affair with horror fans of that era and the VHS store, video store.
Part of it is also the great looking box art.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
sure there were other movies. I mean, Star Wars, of course, always had excellent box art, but I mean, horror always had some, and like you said, some of them could scare you just looking at the box art. I honestly, when you have the Nightmare on Elm Street 2 back there, and this was after I'd seen it, but seeing Freddy just poking out, yeah, it's like, oh man,
that cover kept me from watching Nightmare
right
for years. Like I didn't want to.
That's
I
in
saw
good
that.
Condition.
Yeah, I don't know. I've had this one for a long time.
I miss having that. I love that. I prefer that over the poster art that I have behind me. Even though that's excellent. But so what about you, man? Did you get to go to the video store and rent the VHSs, buy some? I'm sure.
Oh yeah, and actually, I still have my VHS collections at my parents' house. Yeah, I need to go. I need to go get them and bring them here.
Yeah.
Now that I have my own fucking house.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
A big part of my life as a teenager was either working or going to the video store. The one I went to was like independently owned, local.
Those are the best.
Yeah. And it was great. Like every October, like the horror movies were $1 to rent.
Right.
All month long. So I would take advantage of that. And there's just something about going to a video store that I fucking miss.
Yeah.
You know, we had like nothing here in town.
We had a freeze frame video.
You see the posters and the.
Yeah.
You'd have the posters and the cardboard standees and all that, which I've been able to get a couple. Like that one at the back here, the Last Man Standing from '97, Bruce Willis movie. I remember when that came out, I wanted it so bad, and like they wouldn't. I didn't get to get it back then, and so I was on eBay and I just searched this, like a couple of years ago and found it. A guy had it; it had never been opened, and he was selling it for $15.
Oh man!
So man, yeah, I was like,
that's a good deal.
Yeah. So yeah, that whole it's talk about like there were a couple mom and pop places I went to. The one that was in my childhood neighborhood, it was called River City Video, and I actually worked a day there. One day, it was so fun because
what happened?
Well, I just left college. I was working at UPS, and I think I just left Winn-Dixie. I took a job at Winn-Dixie when I was 15, so I had that job. So I was just looking for extra money, and so I loved it. I thought, well, I love movies. I love video stores. I'm going to work at this place. And so they scheduled me on a Saturday night, and the thing I remember is like, people coming in asking for horror movies, and it was around. It was '96. I remember because somebody came in, a couple saying, "Hey, if you haven't seen Scream, you need to go see Scream." I was like, "Oh, I saw it. I loved it." So, but they were looking for a scary movie. This couple came in, and they said, "We rented The Exorcist last night. It's the first time we'd seen it, and they loved it. And they said, we want something scary. We really want something also scary." So I took them over there, and I think the first thing I grabbed was Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Ooh, that's a good follow-up.
Yeah. So I remember like that was my bread and butter. Was like, okay, you're asking for horror movies, I'll take care of you. Come over here.
Yeah, and it's funny, but even when I was in there at like Hollywood Video or Blockbuster, I'd be looking at the horror movies, and people would say something like, "Here, hold on, let me show you what to get. This is what you need to get," And then usually it was people in their like mid 40s or whatever trying to find something for their kids, and I liked helping people out even though I didn't work there. But I was going to tell you, Scream. Actually, it's funny you mentioned Scream. It influenced me very much. Randy worked at the video store. And I applied at every video store in the area because I was like, I want to work there. I want to be the expert like Randy. I loved Randy, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever talked about how much I like Randy, but yeah, it like I really wanted to go to a video store, work at a video store because he did. It looked awesome, I thought they fired your ass.
That's one of the best scenes too. Him and Matthew together are great in that scene.
Yeah.
They watch prom night, they'd save time. My favorite part of that scene though is one, I don't know if everybody catches it, where he goes, "There's always some bullshit reason to kill your girlfriend," and that girl behind her is looking at like looks up at him. Like, what the fuck did he just say?
That's why he loved Randy. Killed off way too soon, in my opinion. But yeah. I mean, I've got a lot of memories of just hanging out. It's like the comic book shop. Like I might have replaced the comic book shop with or the video store with the comic book shop. Because when I was a kid, I knew what I was getting in the comic book shop. I'd run in, get it because I got my pool, and I pretty much left. But at the video store, when I turned 16, I fucking hung out there. You know, I was always there. The people at Blockbuster and Hollywood Video knew my name. It was bad. It was bad, guys. I would go to Blockbuster because it was closer a lot of the times to get, and they were better about having new releases. But I'd go there, and that's where I got my Halloween, which you have the Nightmare on Elm Street or the Night Living Dead. But I got my Halloween there. Like, hey Ray, we got this in today, and I'm like, ooh, it's $10. You should get it. And and plus we got a coupon to Pizza World. And so I got the Halloween, and I got a pizza from Pizza World.
Yeah, that was a big day because I had never seen.
I've never seen that one.
I'd never seen Halloween ever.
Really?
And so I kept looking for it. I hadn't seen it until that copy came out because.
Oh, you mean like to buy?
Period. I hadn't seen it.
Period. Oh my God! Seriously, that was the mid-90s.
Yeah, it's like I was looking for it. I kept looking for it. I could not find it. I could never catch it on TV. And every video store I went, no one had the original Halloween. They always had the sequels. Right. And it drove me nuts. And I got talked about on the show before. The only time I ever saw anything Halloween was in the documentary, the Terror in the Aisles, the clips that are in there. And so when I walked in the Blockbuster today and I saw these two sitting on the counter, and it was like $2 or $3 or something ridiculous like that. And yeah, I was a happy guy that day. So I got to finally see Halloween.
Dude, I had to pay
and then, you know,
free pizza.
But there's so many great memories. I remember going to the video store in the early 90s and seeing the display for Dead Alive, and it said, "We dare you to watch this movie." You know, like what? We dare you to rent this, and just little things like that. But you just remember like going as a kid in that horror section. It was just so. It was like a test. It was. I stayed away from it for many, many years because I was just nervous. And then you just had those times where you went with your friends and you rented a couple and ordered a pizza and you went there and you watched scary movies.
And those are the best nights ever.
Oh yeah.
Did you? So let me ask you guys a question, both of you. Was there a movie that I got first? Let me tell a story, but I got a question to ask both of you. It was about that Dead Alive displayer they had. So I saw that they're like, we dare you to watch this or whatever it was. I went and picked up Evil Dead, thought it was the same damn thing, and I went home. I was like, this is nothing. This is Evil Dead. I got the wrong movie. I used to get those two confused all the time. And my uncle showed me. He's like, I got Evil Dead. It turned out to be Dead Alive. I was like, that's not Evil Dead. But anyway, my question is, walking up and down the aisle, was there always something that you looked at and thought about, didn't get? Like you see, it's kind of like one of those that kind of loomed large for you. Like, I don't know, man, that one, I don't know if that's going to be too scary, too much for me, because for me it was Hellraiser.
Hellraiser was definitely one. Hellraiser was one of those ones where I knew of them, and then like my uncle used to collect movies, and I'd go to see him once a year in Tennessee, and he had them, and I said, "Are these any good?" He said, "Those movies are straight from hell." And I'm like, okay, I won't watch those.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were some that like I was apprehensive. Like I remember the Faces of Death movies. Seeing those.
Yeah, Brad Rusk mentioned the Faces of Death covers, how they were very intriguing, and I agree with that.
I was like, I don't know about that. And I remember, like I said, the Company of Wolves was a scary cover. Mm-hmm. One I remember early was it the Headless Eyes? It was like the eyes that are crawling out of the body on the ground as a cover. I've never seen the movie, actually. Probably not even good. But I remember that cover bothered me. I remember like even stupid shit like Blood Beach with the girl coming out of the sand. The whole those things are like stained. Like those things, because that's the thing about horror is like it's just unlike anything else. You can walk by the action section or the drama or the comedy, and you're not going to see anything that's going to fuck with you. But you walk through the horror section, and you're like, oh my god, that's a whole other world. It's a whole other thing. I have not experienced this, and I don't know if I'm prepared for that. And,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because like I remember, well, I remember my little brother for a time would not even go down there with me. He'd have to stand at the end of the aisle and wait for me because of I was gonna say one for me also was Society, the cover with the girl ripping her face off. I was like, ooh.
yeah.
And then you see the back and you can see a part of the shunt. But Seth, have you ever seen Society? Oh man, what a wild ride. What about you though? Anything that you kind of were hesitant to watch?
Not really, because at that point in my life, I was starting to really get into horror.
Right.
I was more of a casual fan beforehand.
Hmm.
Growing up, I was a casual fan. I didn't watch a lot of horror movies. And then when I was at the age where I was going to the video store all the time, is around the time I was really diving in, and I took a chance on anything. I watched, this was before, where I'm at now, where I just fucking watch the same movie over and over again.
Right.
I'm nostalgic for it. I used to, give movies a shot back then. So I'd pick up anything. That's how I found American Werewolf in London. That's how I found the Phantasm movies. I didn't hear anything about them because back then it was, dial-up internet. The internet wasn't like it is now with, social media and message, all these different websites and stuff. So it was a fun experience for me.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the best things about. I mean that's almost getting an education in horror, going to the video shop, and
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, me and my brother, when he became of age to watch the stuff, because my mom would take us to the video store, and he was like 4 or 5 years old, would not go down the aisle. But by the time I was 16, ready to drive, it was '96, and he was about 8 or 9, and he would go with me all the time. And I remember we watched Alien. It was odd. The family video it had Alien and Alien 3 in the horror section. Aliens was in the action section, so we missed out on that initially. So we watched Alien 3. We're like, where the hell's the second one? Never saw it until like probably after Alien Resurrection came out. And then we went kind of down the list and tried to watch anything that piqued our interest. We didn't get everything that was in the aisle, but we got things, especially the box art. Like I said before, if the box art looked cool, we were getting it. And a lot of times we were disappointed. but there's some great looking box art with some really bad movies.
Do you guys like those plastic cases they have for certain movies?
The snap cases? No, yeah. I was never a fan. I like the slip. I love the slip-on cases.
Yeah.
I have a couple in the house somewhere, like house.
Yeah, I mean, it was just such a part of that experience, and then to get the opportunity to do those covers for like Scream Factory when they hired me. It was like really, and they wanted it old school '80s vintage covers. That's what they wanted. So I think
that's why they're so popular.
The first thing I did, yeah, definitely. Like the first thing I did was the Halloween 2 cover, and if you notice, like that one looks different from everything else because I wasn't a painter. I was a comic book artist. So like my main focus was illustration, like with drawing, and so I never really messed with painting. And I said, well, all those covers were mostly, for the most part, paintings. They were acrylic paintings or oil paintings or something. So airbrush, and it's like I don't really do that. So I had to force myself to digital paint because that's the only thing I think I was too. Now I paint. Now I've faced it and picked up the brushes and done it. But
we've seen your live streams. We're jealous. So
at that time I hadn't. It was like 2011, 2012 when they hired me, and so for the first one, for the Halloween 2, it's purely a digital painting. And they said, no, we wanted your regular style that I was doing for Horror Hound and everything. And so I said, well, that's like comic book style. It's like ink and it's ink drawing with digital coloring underneath. And I said, well, that's what we wanted. So all my other covers look like that, except for later on when I started to do more practical. I did acrylic and color pencil and things like that. But that was the thing, that they wanted that look of those 80s covers, because that's what they were big fans of as well. They came from that generation as well. So that was really cool to be able to tackle some of these great classic horror movies and try to, capture that fun. The only difference here was, and I've pointed it out, like in when those movies came out, they weren't selling the movie stars or the characters; they were selling the horror.
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell people, like indie filmmakers who want me to do their artwork now, I'm like, they want Scream Factory. Well, Scream Factory, like, people know those are for fans who know those characters and love those characters, but no one knows your characters yet or your actors yet. So, you know, you want to sell something like, you know, the Jaws cover or the Halloween cover, that type of stuff. They didn't put Donald Pleasance on the poster. They put that jack-o'-lantern and the knife because it's intriguing. They like the Howling cover, you know, that had movie stars in it, but that poster is awesome. And it has nothing to do with any of the stars in it.
I always thought it was ripping through a paper bag, like from a grocery store. I was like, a paper bag.
It's a great, effective poster. It always and just, you know, some of the great ones, like, you know, I Spit on Your Grave and Evil Dead and
I Spit on Your Grave is basically a photo, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's like, it's not even the actress. I mean, there's rumor that it's Demi Moore.
Really? She has a flat ass if it's her.
Well, I think what they said was, I think Charles Band, I may be wrong on this, I thought Charles Band was the one that put it out, and he was dating Demi Moore back then, and he got her to do it or something. She was like a young model
Jesus.
actress. But it's a striking cover. It really, I mean, I think that
it is.
That cover alone sells a movie.
Yeah, you look like, you're like, what is going on here? You know, she's got a knife. You see her buttocks. Her buttocks. The fuck year is it? You know, and it looks like totally grindhouse, and the movie does too. So the cover kind of does. The movie pays off for what you see in the cover, in my opinion. It's a rough movie to get through. Cody Falk asked if I'm excited for Batman. Hell yeah, I am. So, yeah, there's you got me looking at VHSs on eBay now, Nate. I want to replenish my collection because, like, I remember one of my favorite things I would do, and I've talked about this many times on the shows, is I would get my Nightmare movies on Sunday and watch all of them. But back then I had to grab, you know, all 5 of them and carry them around because there were VHSs. I really missed having those. I mean, the VHSs were never the same as the poster art. Not completely. Like you showed the Nightmare 2 VHS cover. It was nothing like the poster that I remember, which is the one over my shoulder, which you can't see because of the stupid fan. But
I've talked about that in design too. Like the Nightmare on Elm Street 2 poster, I think that was the only one that didn't have the VHS didn't have the original poster on it, right?
Dream Child didn't either.
Yeah, that's right, the Dream Child. But what was
Dream Child had Freddy with the bassinet thing, and he was you know, it's
that's right. But, like, I mean, the difference here is, like, if you're doing a poster, if you're doing a VHS, like, you've got this to be on the shelf, and you want people to pick that out.
Mm-hmm.
That stands out a whole lot more than that Part 2 poster because it's like small figures. It's kind of like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre here, where you got small figures. That doesn't stand out on the shelf as much as that.
Well, I mean, that's got the star of the show right on the cover. It's got Freddy. And when I looked at him like, what is he? You see flames in the background. I'm looking, is he coming out of hell? You know, that's what it looks like.
So if you want, I mean, you're doing your DVD or Blu-ray or VHS, you want this type of stuff.
Yeah.
Because that jumps off in a wall of movies. You're going to see that compared to a busy thing. So, I mean, that was one part with Scream Factory. They really wanted, someone called it the kitchen sink approach, where, you know, they wanted everything. I'd get a list of, we want this character, this character, this character, this character, this thing. And as I went on, I tried to cut that down. Like, my Shocker cover is just Horace, but they originally wanted the collage with all the characters. And I said, I just think it's going to look better if just Horace coming out of the TV with the knife coming at you than just the same collage shit with the triangle composition, because you start to feel like you're just repeating yourself. And again, it just jumps out of the edges. But to me,
Yeah, but nobody
like,
cares about the actual characters in that movie. They care about Horace. They care about just like Freddy. They care about. I mean, well, that's different. I mean, you care about Lisa Wilcox
yeah,
and Nancy and all that stuff. Never mind, that was bad. No, Lisa Wilcox. Anyway, uh, I get what you're saying, but I think moving into the DVD age, I think they really simplified some of these, and there's a lot. Even some of the later VHS releases look like complete shit. I've talked about the Halloween 2 release. It's like neon green. It's got Donald Pleasance and Jamie Lee Curtis and the jack-o'-lantern in the middle, or which was the other one that was really bad? Actually, there's 2 Halloween 2s that are really bad, because the other one was a close-up of Michael's face, and like it was like half red or something like that. Seth, you remember that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have both of them, because every time I saw a copy of Halloween or any of the other Halloweens, I bought it. The only one Halloween 2 that I wish I had was the media release, the early one, because that one had the actual poster art on it. I do have all my Star Wars VHSs still. Well, a professional artist here. Come on. Yeah, I have every release that Star Wars released on VHS up in my bedroom. I keep it in my bedroom for a reason. It's my most prized possessions. So
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think it is. What were you gonna say? You had a thought.
Yeah, I forget what I was gonna say. I think it was I forget. It'll come back to me.
Are you verklempt?
I'm verklempt. I was getting emotional. I was thinking about VHS. You're talking about the all the bad covers, the 90s stuff. That really like the 90s is when like Photoshop came in, early primitive, where studios and distributors were like, hey, we don't have to pay artists all this money anymore. We don't have to pay Drew Struzan all this money anymore. And so, like, that period of art, poster art, like, I remember seeing, like, I loved Scream. And I remember, like, I didn't see the poster Scream until after I saw the movie. And I looked it up. I wanted to buy it. And it's the one with, just Drew Barrymore's face and the whole, and I thought, I don't want that on my wall. That's boring. Like there was just something about it that wasn't, and that compared to what we got on the VHS.
There's the Halloween I'm talking about, by the way. Halloween 2.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry,
Well, like Miramax had that whole thing where they just kind of got the stars to do a photo shoot, and they're just kind of like there. It's not like Skeet Ulrich has a goatee.
Yeah.
Instead of like it's just like the Pulp Fiction where Samuel Jackson doesn't have his Jerry curl or anything, and you're like, what the fuck? So they're selling the movie stars instead of the movie at that point, and they got really boring, and like some of the shittiest photoshopping. Like was it the Alien 3 poster was really bad. It was just like Ripley and like a shitty job of graphic design, and like,
was it this little one?
It was like that, but it was even worse.
Even worse?
It was worse than that. Yeah. I mean, there's some of those posters in that era are just dog shit. Like, you would not want that on your wall. Like, I would not, like, if I went to a poster shop and they had those 90s movie posters, the majority of them are dog shit. Like, they just do not look attractive. I would not put them on my wall. I would totally go back to anything pre-1990, and you're going to find pretty interesting, cool-looking artwork for posters, going all the way back to the 20s even. I mean, illustration was back, and they had it then. That's another myth, too. People complain about floating heads. Well, the floating heads were... You see those in the 1930s movie posters. And
the poster behind you.
Yeah. Old Dark House, floating head, 1932. I mean, come on. So... we get criticized with that all the time with the Scream Factory and Arrow Video and all that. Floating heads. Like, no, they did that long before we got there.
Yeah, it's been around for a long time. I think most posters in the 30s. I mean, I've got Son of Frankenstein in there, and it's got floating heads. And I think The there's a lot of them that are like that.
Yeah, I'm looking around here, and I got the Raven. It's got all 3 stars heads. Sunset Boulevard, floating heads. it's just there. There's an old Big Sleep. It's just Lauren Bacall's head floating.
Batman Returns is all floating heads. They're on the top of each other. I miss having those too. I bought a great Batman set back when I was. It was before Batman and Robin came out on VHS, so it had Batman Returns, and Batman Forever, which is underrated in my opinion. But I remember I was gonna say another story I wanted to tell was back in I think it was '96, had to be '96. We had a family Christmas, and I was driving, so yeah, it had to be '96. We had a family Christmas, and I was just bored out of my mind because the day before that, I had been waiting because Saturday matinee when VHSs came out. This was what the like the Suncoast Studios type of place. When VHS would come out, when a movie would come out, they would charge you like $90 for it. You know, it's like because I went to pre-order Jason Goes to Hell because I had bought Jason Goes to Hell because I wanted to have all of them. And they're like, yeah, it's going to be about $90. The problem, like, never mind. I'll just never own that, you know. And so I had waited for Halloween 6 or Halloween Curse of Michael Myers to come out on, VHS, and I had never seen it. But Blockbuster had it, and I was waiting for them to put it on Previously Viewed. And right before Christmas, they did in '96 because you remember it took like a year to come out on VHS back then.
Yeah.
You know, where now it's like 2 months.
Everything took a year. Yeah.
Yeah. But so like they put it on there. It was $9.99, and I saw it the day before or a couple days before, and I was waiting, and we got paid the day before Christmas on Christmas Eve. And you know, Christmas family time. You go have Christmas Eve dinner, open presents with your family on Christmas. Go to another family's house. So we were at my grandma's house, and I was like, Mom, I'm not feeling great. Can I go home and just go to sleep? And she's like, Yeah, are you okay? I'm like, Yeah, I'm fine. So I go out the door. I run to my car giggling because I know Blockbuster's still open on Christmas Day. I drive my ass to Blockbuster, and my mom comes home an hour and a half later. She's like, what is that on the TV? It's like Halloween 6. She's like, you left to go buy Halloween 6 from your family's Christmas. So I was like, yeah, I sure did. I left to go get that. I was so excited too. She was not.
It's funny you bring up that title and the whole Suncoast thing in the same breath because I remember being in Suncoast. But that like I was in there shopping and the guy was there asking about Halloween 6, wanting to buy it, and they looked it up and they told him it's going to be $98.99 or something like. He's like, what? It's like because like I said, like kids, young people don't realize like again, we had to wait a year before they'd even hit VHS from the theater, and also you could if you lost the tape at the video store, it was going to cost you $100 a fee for them to replace it, to restock it. But also, like, you couldn't go into stores. You couldn't walk into Target or Walmart or anything and buy a VHS. Like, the first movie I remember seeing on VHS in a store, just like not at a Suncoast or not, was Batman, when Batman came out. I remember
that was in grocery stores.
Yeah, you could buy Batman because it was such a big fucking thing. It was such a big movie. But, like, I remember, like, even, like, E.T. took, like, 4 years to come out on VHS. I don't know if you remember that. Like it didn't get a release in 1983 or 82. I don't know what the holdup was with ET.
I mean, that's still infancy for VHS and home video players for the most part. I mean, they really kicked in the mid 80s, I think.
Yeah, but like buying them in stores was not normal until about 94, 95, 96.
Yeah. When Walmart started doing grocery store and the super centers, that's when I started seeing VHS tapes pop up in their stores, and I went fucking buck wild. Yeah, so I went crazy. I was like, I can buy this and have it at home because the only thing we ever bought were Disney movies. Disney movies you can get anywhere.
I think the first one I ever bought, like with my own money and all that, was at Suncoast. It was True Romance, the director's cut. That's like 94, 95, I guess. Yeah. So, yeah, that was the first one I remember. And then, like, Suncoast they were just so expensive. I didn't buy a lot from Suncoast. The only time I buy I think I bought all my Vincent Price ones there, like the old. They released all the Roger Corman, Poe, Price movies there, and then I remember collecting all the Red Dwarf seasons when they would come out. 'Cause that was the only place you could get Red Dwarf.
I feel like they're more expensive than even 4K VHSs. Some of them were, because I remember I waited till Friday the 13th went on sale for $10 because they were always $25.
They'd be about $30 or so. I remember like Red Dwarf, Red Dwarf was each season was 6 episodes, but they would be on 2 different tapes.
Yeah.
And each tape would be $30. Every time I'd go to buy a new season, I'd drop $60, which is a lot of money for a kid in 1996, 97. Yeah. Like I was a kid, I was 20, 21. But still, it was a pretty big chunk of cash.
Chunk of cheddar?
For 2 VHS tapes.
The first VHS I bought was Freddy's Revenge. There was a place that was the place to go to get VHSs in the early 90s. This was like 92, 93. I got $12 together. Went over to Tape World, is what the place was called, and they had it. It was the only one they had there, and I had to make a decision between 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. I picked Freddy's Revenge because you know how much love I have for that movie, and I bought that. I got it home. I was so stoked. Put in the VCR, black screen. I fast forward because you know how you fast forward through some stuff, black screen all the way through the tape. It stopped and rewound. I'm like, what the hell? There was nothing on the tape. I had to take it back, and I ended up buying The Doors, the Jim Morrison, the Oliver Stone movie. I was surprised I got that because I was only like 11, 12. Eventually, later that year, Schnucks, that grocery store, put Freddy's Dead on sale, so I bought that. So that was my first Freddy movie that I got. Canon, of course.
So Luke asks us, what's our favorite movie poster cover?
For VHS?
I have 2 favorite posters. I'll grab them and show them. So,
Seth, yours is probably, I'm going to say the 89 or the 90 Night of the Living Dead. I think that was my favorite because when the DVD came out, they fucking ruined it, and it looked so terrible. And finally, they brought it out on Blu-ray. That's very similar to the poster that they released. What about you, Seth? You got one offhand? Not American Werewolf in London.
American Werewolf in London.
I'm just waiting for him to say that. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Don't be jealous.
Yeah.
You probably have that, don't you?
He's got that. He's got to have that.
I have the movie on VHS, but unfortunately I didn't get a chance to get it with that cover. I got it when they reissued it. They have a different cover.
Really? Let me look that up.
It's like a blue cover with the wolf howling.
Oh, one of those bullshit covers?
It's not too bad. I kind of like it.
I don't remember what year this one was. Let's see.
Oh yeah, okay. I know. Never mind. This one's not bad. If this is the one you're talking about, let me pull it up on the screen here.
This was a '96 release.
Yeah, but that's the one that if I think about an American Werewolf in London, that's immediately where my brain goes.
Yeah,
that one. But is this the one you're talking about?
Yeah, I got that on DVD.
Yeah, I like my Arrow.
Well, I got the VHS, the DVD, Blu-ray Steelbook, and then Blu-ray the Arrow version or whatever of that movie. So
yeah,
those are my two favorite.
Well, yeah. Here, let me pull you up on the.
Those are my 2 favorite.
Pulp Fiction. And Nightmare. I mean, it's got to be. Well, show me the back of that Pulp Fiction, will you?
Huh?
Show me the back of Pulp Fiction. Yeah.
This is the one with Samuel Jackson's got no Jerry curl.
Oh, yeah. That's funny. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That looks like him from Loaded Weapon 1.
Yeah. This is like I said. This is one of my favorite movie posters. It was just amazing. Like it's just. And it's like the first thing I remember where someone was putting the aging, which I kind of overdid on everything.
Mm-hmm.
But Pulp Fiction was kind of the first thing I remember where he made it look like an old pulp magazine, and it was all folded and bent, and that was just because Quentin kind of embodies nostalgia and that whole era of, and it just screamed that on that Pulp Fiction poster.
Yeah, it really did. That actually, that's a good one. That's a real good one, actually. That's that's kind of an iconic looking poster as it is. The way and it really does pull from back, the pulp magazines and stuff like that.
In the time where like movie posters just look like dog shit. Like I wish Reservoir Dogs had a cool poster because it doesn't. Like in the VHS, like I got the VHS and it's just boring. It's like. That.
Oh yeah, I don't like that one either.
Yeah, I have that one.
I did too.
I mean, it's not bad. It's not awful.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that one. They had I might be thinking of something. I might be thinking of the DVD. Well, I don't know how to spell Reservoir.
Reservoir Dogs still hasn't had a good Blu-ray cover or DVD cover.
No, I was gonna say the DVD I have was stupid because it had they released like different editions with the color of the person,
Yeah.
And, yeah, so I got the one that had all four of them on it with the colors behind them. No, they released a gas can release on DVD once. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, the gas can one.
Yeah.
That was cool. But like I said, the art was black. Like hopefully, like one day Criterion picks it up and we get like a really cool cover.
Surprised they haven't picked up all of his movies. I
don't think they've done any. I don't think they have any of his movies. Really.
No, I don't think so either.
Any of his movies are on Criterion.
I haven't rebought any of his movies on Blu-ray yet. I'd like to get a couple like Kill Bill. I'd like to get those. I remember when Kill Bill came out on DVD because I didn't hit VHS. It had I bought it with a box to put 2 in, which I thought was pretty cool. They planned on making it like a box set and I guess selling it that way. So I thought that was pretty cool. Oh, Brad Rusk has the gas can.
Yeah.
They get really cool with DVD releases. I mean, some of the DVD like box art looked like shit, but some of the like special edition releases were pretty cool, and some of the Blu-ray ones are too. I remember the what's that movie called? Oh god, the Spielberg movie about the Holocaust. What was that called?
Schindler's List.
Schindler's List. Yeah, that had a massive
Schindler's List.
Yeah, the DVD release was really cool looking. What is that noise? Oh, toilet flushing? Oh man. I don't remember the Matchbook. I know there's a couple of Kevin Smith movies that came out that I had. That's another thing. I had Clerks and Mallrats on VHS, but I think those were the only two.
Yeah, the gas can. The gas can inside had looked like a Matchbook fold with the DVD inside it. I had it. I think I traded it in though.
What, the gas can?
Yeah,
what's the whole blood affair for Kill Bill? What is that?
He's been talking about cutting it all together and releasing it as one movie, like it was supposed to be, and releasing it in theaters, so you get the whole thing. And I think there was some extra stuff. Like I've only read the script online, and there were like a lot of extra scenes that weren't in the films. Of course, you got the Japanese version where the whole Crazy 88 fights in color, which I've got like whatever they call the whole bloody affair that floats around at conventions. I've got that over there somewhere. Picked it up at a show. But I don't think it's the official.
Crazy 88 fights what now?
When they released it in Japan, like there's no black and white sequence in the
Oh,
fights.
Really?
It's all bloody. I think he did it in black and white here because it's so violent, so red, so bloody that he figured the MPA would never give him an R rating.
Crazy.
So yeah, I've got that version where it's all color. I prefer the black and white. I think the black and white's really attractive, like the lighting on her.
Did you do any mock-ups of those movies on for your VHS collection? Because I know you did. You printed out. Did you print them out or make them yourself?
I just printed them out and folded them up. I did a Kill Bill, and I made it look like I Spit on Your Grave cover because I just wanted to give it a 80s vibe kind of thing. So I kind of did a. Yeah, I've got it. I think it's on the other side.
Nate's gonna get a workout from getting up so much. Seth, you never named your favorite.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Don't cop out and say American Werewolf in London.
I'm not going to. I don't know. I'm trying to think of some of the covers from the ones I have.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I've always liked the poster art for Halloween 6. I know it's pretty generic, but
no, I like it too. For a long time in my living room, I had 3 posters up. I had the Dream Master poster because that was my favorite, not just movie but poster. And I loved the VHS. I loved looking at it because on the back he had he's standing there with his the souls of the children on his chest and everything, which was really cool. And then I had the Jason Lives poster, which is exactly what Nate has behind him. Hey, what's the picture on the back? Is that Tommy in the boat? And then I had the Halloween 6 poster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
I miss it.
I think this was always a cool cover. I always liked the Part 4 cover too, with the mask with the knife in the eye. Yeah. Oh, this is also one of my other favorite movie posters of all time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Again, big face grabs attention.
Big face, little house.
Yeah.
Isn't 5 close to that too?
And then you got that. The Making of Nightmare 4.
Never seen that before in my life. What is that? That's a Making of Nightmare 4?
The Making of Dream Master, yeah.
No shit.
You never seen this at all?
No.
Oh man, this is great because it's got you see all. I mean, you've seen clips of it, right? Like
very few.
I guess maybe in Never Sleep Again, but this is 50 minutes long. And when I bought those head sculpts from a lot of the footage in there is from Bill Force's home videos. He worked on Steve Johnson's team, so a lot of stuff's on there. And Bill has he sent me a DVD that has 2 hours of home videos that he shot behind the scenes making Nightmare 4, and a lot of that's in this. But this came out. I saw this when it came out. This is a 1989 release, so I've had this forever.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to find that because I want to watch that. Although I still have a VCR. It's in my basement. It hasn't been used in 20 years, maybe. I'm really afraid to put a tape in there.
Yeah, I would be.
I have my mother-in-law found copies of House. I don't remember House 2, and something else. And she's like, "You can watch them. You have a VCR." I'm like, I don't want to ruin them. I'm worried. You can tell that's something that was going to die because how many tapes did you get on the VCR and you had to get out or open the VCR or cut the tape? How many times did you have to do that?
A lot. Yeah, it sucked.
I lost a lot of tapes that way.
Yeah, mostly the music
were
ones,
recorded tapes, but still.
Yeah.
Remember, you put it on extra long play, and you get 3 movies on one tape.
Yep, got a lot of those. I got a lot of those in there too.
Did you guys watch the movie you were recording if it was on USA or something like that and pause it so you'd get the commercials out and you have to hurry up and unpause it to get make sure it started back up?
Oh yeah.
Kids don't know how tough we had it.
I was maybe think of all that stuff. John, I was listening to John Heffron, the comedian of the day, and he was talking about kids back in the day, your radio didn't tell you what song was on the radio.
No.
Like there was nothing in the dash saying this is the title and this is the artist. You had to sit there and wait. And you're like, please tell me what that is.
Yeah.
Please tell me what that is. And like he never would. He'd be like, hey, that was a good one. The weather is. He goes, if you wanted to know what the temperature or what time it was, you had to drive by a bank. Like you couldn't find that out. You had to go find a bank.
I remember doing that when I was in high school.
Yeah. And he's like, but if you heard a song on the radio and you couldn't get it out of your head, you had to drive to the mall. Because I know this sounds crazy. You had to go to the mall and you had to go to merry-go-round, and then you had to sing that song to the guy. Because it was always some stupid song.
It's not wrong at all. Yeah, I mean those people. I hope they were paid well because they had to listen to a lot of people sing. Like I remember there was a song. This is how I actually going back to the Doors. How I discovered the Doors. It was "Hello, I Love You," and I couldn't for the life of me know who it was, but I heard it at like, I don't know, a party or something with my family, like a barbecue or something like that. And I went in and I started singing. I was like, "What's this band?" And she's like, "I've never heard that. Keep going." And I'm like, I'd go as far as I can. She's like, "Oh, I don't know. Can you do it again?" And this bitch was speaking. And she knew exactly. She was like, "That's the Doors. I know what it. I'll show you." That's.
It's fun to hear you sing more.
Yeah, I was like, "Come on!" I'm like, 11 years old, and I was so embarrassed, but I still got the tape. Yep, it was a tape back then. Well, and now they have like Shazam. You can Shazam a song. If you hear someone on the radio, you don't have to wait for them to look, or if it's on the thing, just hit the Shazam on your damn phone, and it'll be like, "Oh, this is such and such for," and it has the lyrics. You remember how hard it was to get lyrics for songs? You know how many songs I guessed on before they started sticking lyrics in the sleeve? God.
That's another. We'll talk about another video store, like talked about Scream, but like just the video store scenes with Randall and Clerks.
Yeah.
Like you got that movie that was out last year, had that guy in it.
That must have been a common occurrence too.
Just those stupid, They always rent the most devoid thing on the. Ooh, Navy SEALs.
Ooh, yeah.
That was a hard time too. Like going to a video store. What's that?
Least favorite covers. I'd say it's gonna be a hard one. Yeah.
I don't know. I try to forget those.
Sleepaway Camp.
What was the Sleepaway Camp cover?
It's actually on the screen. It's the shoe with the knife through it.
Oh, I mean, it's still effective. It works better than any 90s bullshit.
Better. You did those, didn't you?
I did all the Scream.
Yeah, never mind. I didn't like those. Are terrible.
Yeah, the Sleepaway Camps are awful.
I like those.
It's funny, like that one, like the girl. I forget her fucking name. She was in The Woman and Jug Face and Darling. And
Jugface, I remember that movie.
Yeah, she was. I was at a show and I went over and I was talking to her. Like one of my friends was with her, like kind of handling her there, and at her table taking money and stuff. And she said she introduced me to her. Like, "Oh, this is Nate. He does this." And she said something about like her favorite horror movie is Sleepaway Camp, and I had just done the covers, and I said, "Hey, I did the covers." Like, "No fucking way." I'm like, "Yeah." So I went over and got a print that I had of it and brought it to her, and she gave me like I think a woman print or something. Oh, she gave me a copy of Jugface, yeah, because it just came out. I hadn't seen it.
That movie's weird.
But she was real cool. But it was kind of she was just geeking out because that was like her favorite horror movie. What was I thinking of? I had another thought. I forgot it.
I was gonna say, one that I really liked that always piqued my interest was Sleepaway Camp 2 because it showed the girl on the cover, then it had the Freddy glove and the Jason mask. So always, what is this? And it was nothing like that. She wears that stuff at one point, but not even the same girl. Springsteen's sister.
I had to do an homage to that on something, and I'm forgetting what it was now. I think maybe it was a convention poster, but I had to do that with the backpack and the different items.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, shit, I forgot what that was. I know I did that though. So much fucking work.
Yeah. Oh, Pet Sematary had another good cover too.
I got that one somewhere.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
Yeah, right there.
What did Pet Sematary 2's look like? Was it just Edward Furlong and his friend?
Yeah,
cover?
not as good.
No. It's hard to remember so many of them. I mean, you think at this point we're 30 plus years away from some of these, and it's hard to remember some of the covers that came out because I mean there's been multiple releases of each movie. I mean, how many times has A Nightmare on Elm Street been released on VHS and DVD? And I mean, there's an alternate cover to the first Elm Street too that was on VHS that I had. It was slightly different. It
Yeah.
had I think the one you have, I had two of them. One of them had the font that was in the movie, the fat font, and
Yeah,
then the other one I had that you have. So that's a little bit different.
Yeah, I prefer the original font.
Yeah, the
But
fat font or whatever.
I think I got that here.
They also changed I think on one of them they changed the intro. They changed it back to the original New Line Cinema because the first one, yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do like that font.
Yeah. And I got this one. Let's see.
Seth, are you ready to get your VHS collection back to your house?
Oh yeah.
You're gonna have a ball. How many do you think you have?
Got that one.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh
Wide-
yeah,
The widescreen version.
I ended up getting those two.
This crappy part 2.
Looks like he's giving you the finger.
That's the one that had the whole series, right?
Yeah.
With the sides, all Freddy, yeah.
Yeah, I bought those for $7.50 at Walmart, and I was missing all. I got all but one of them. It was part 5. It was right in the fucking middle. I ended up getting it eventually, but they released those on DVD also. Those the red set. I have those along with the box set. I think Seth, whenever you do get your VHS collection, you should do a live video, go through them all. Hopefully, there's no porn. Well, hopefully there is.
No, there's no porn.
You don't have a big box of porn like Paul Rudd and 40-Year-Old Virgin? Slaughter High. That's a good one, yeah.
I think like this is like the problem. The problem with these, like this is part 2. Well, that's an image of Freddy in part 4.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like some random Texas Chainsaw house there. Like, what is that all about? Like, that's like Ed Gein's house.
It came out in the late 90s. It's like, who came up with this? This has nothing to do with this movie.
Yeah. I remember this whole set was like that. Like, just the wrong movie on the covers. Or what if that Friday...
Yeah, because here's the DVD. It's the same ones. They're all stupid.
I'd say the worst covers I've ever seen were the Die Hard set that came out a couple of years ago. Seth, I know you're a big Die Hard fan. Remember those that came out? They're so horribly photoshopped. Where Bruce Willis's head is on like somebody else's body, holding guns, and it's like it looks so unnatural and so like. And all I could think of when I saw it was like, you motherfuckers, I would have done that set for free. Like, you could have gave me that. I would have drawn those. But it looks like someone who just learned Photoshop made them.
Yeah.
They're so bad. You have the first one?
That's the first one.
Is that the first movie? It's not that one. No, they're awful. Maybe you got any others in the set?
That's all I got.
No, it's not those. They're really
These
bad.
don't look good either.
Those aren't great either. No. Yeah.
Like, look at his hand. You can tell his hand is independent from his body. It's like there's.
Oh, that is one of them. That one there is really. Yeah, that was one of the really shitty ones. Yeah. They're terrible for a movie for a series that great. They should have good artwork on them.
Well, you've done a Die Hard piece before, haven't you? Just recently.
I did that one over this COVID break.
Yeah, they got really lazy and too much Photoshop with a lot of like in the DVD age. They started getting really bad with it. There are multiple releases of Die Hard also, and I got to tell you, none of them have, in my opinion, a very good quality version of the fucking Die Hard on it. Am I the only one who noticed that? Like, I bought the silver set that came out, and they had the fat cases for DVD.
Yeah.
Those were shitty. Do you remember those?
I've got one of those, like the gold cover.
Something like that. It was gold or silver. I think mine was silver.
Mine was silver as well. I think they had both.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was both. But they were shitty quality. And I was all excited. Got home, put on Die Hard, and the screen was stretched, and it's like, what the fuck is this? You know? I didn't watch Die Hard for years because I didn't have a good copy.
That's what I got.
Yeah, no, that's not the one. Is that VHS or DVD?
This is VHS.
Well, that one's nice. Why didn't they just do that?
This is the wide. This is when they came out on widescreen for the first time.
It's another thing I started doing with VHS as late is having the widescreen edition.
Yeah, when they released the letterbox, like I think
the letterbox. That's it. Yeah.
I think some of the first ones I remember seeing were the Jaws,
Star Wars,
and Star Wars and Blade Runner director's cut. They released that. It was one of the first letterbox that started popping up. Yeah, man, it's just funny to think about how you can just walk into a store and there's just endless movies, but then it was like just such a rarity, and you just like wanted to get them. Like, I gotta get these, and it was cool, times.
The stores are reverting back to not having a big movie selection as it is. I mean, I went to my Walmart recently. It had a big ass selection of movies. Now it's got trimmed down almost completely down to one aisle where it was like 3 or 4 and a bunch of end caps and mini, spinners or whatever. And then, the tubs of DVDs, they don't have that shit anymore. It's becoming a physical media is dying bad, unfortunately. But you know what? If the internet ever goes out, I'm covered. I've got just about everything on a disc. Power goes out, we're all screwed. So, but
yeah,
internet ever goes down, I'm in good shape. Just pop in a DVD or a Blu-ray, or as Elena says, DVD. DVD, yeah. So I mean, I miss VHSs, but like seriously, if I got them now, it'd be all just for collecting purposes. I'd love to find a shelf like you've got there.
Yeah, if I'm gonna watch them, I'm gonna watch them on DVD or Blu-ray, because that's the thing. Like, people talk about, oh, it was so much better. It's like, no, it wasn't. You had to rewind. You had to, all that bullshit. Like, they're not
tracking.
This shit is not better. Like, that's how our nostalgia works. Like when people talk about it was such. The cool thing about we've talked about on the show. The cool thing about the VHS thing was, like we said, you would go to the video store and you would spend 30 minutes, an hour just looking, trying to find what you wanted, because you were young and you didn't have endless money, and like whatever you took home, that's what you had. And like, so, and that was the thing. That was why these movies, we watched them over and over and over, because that was part of it. Like, you threw down your money. You didn't have endless options at home if you didn't like the movie.
Right.
So we watched a lot of bullshit movies that weren't really totally great. But we watched them again and again because we're getting our money's worth, and that was our option. So you watched it. And nowadays, people watch a movie for 10 minutes, and if it isn't grabbing them, they just say, well, what else? I've got thousands of other options, or I've got my home collection over here, and I can watch a movie that's a tried and true. But like, everybody says, well, it's so much better. And like, no, I mean, you go back and watch a lot of 80s movies. A lot of 80s movies are not great. They really aren't well made. They're really not. There's a lot of bad writing, bad acting, bad filmmaking. But we watched them over and over and over and over to the point where we just love them because they're so familiar to us and they're so ingrained in us that. So when people say, "Oh, they're not as good as they used to be," that's just romance. It's just there's still really great films coming out every year, to the point where when I have to make my top 10 of the year list, I'm hard pressed to leave stuff out. Like, I can't cut that. I can't cut this. I have to have that in my top 10. If I go back to the 80s, sometimes some years, like somebody was just doing this the other day with the 80s movies, like, hey, what are the best movies, 82 or 85? And I'm looking at them, I'm going, I'm not having a hard time coming up with a top 10 on this, because like there's maybe 30 movies I really like, but only 10 are like really, really fucking good. These other ones are kind of, if I put them up against some of the best movies now, they don't stand up. Like I'm able to separate that nostalgia, whereas like, that movie is not very good. It's I like it because I watched it 1,000 times on HBO.
Well, and then because we had to. I mean, think about not even just what you own is like if you had cable, HBO or Cinemax or whoever would order a movie for a month and they'd play it over and over and over again. And it sucked, but it was cool at the same time because if you wanted to watch the fucking Spaceballs, it was going to be on 3 times a day.
And you forget how like I remember. It's weird because you're right. Like they would play those 5 or 6 movies a week or a month, and you would because it's like that was it. That's all you had was that. And so like every once in a while, I'll pop in a movie that I haven't seen in a long time. Like I think Loaded Weapon. You talked about Loaded Weapon.
Yeah, that's a fun movie.
Loaded Weapon. I hadn't seen in years, and I watched it, and like I remember every fucking line from this movie. How is this possible? Like I haven't seen this in 25 years. And I remember every scene, every little detail, every line. It's because it was on over and over and over. And it's not one of those movies that I love like Die Hard or Halloween or Back to the Future where I watch it every year or something. But like I must have watched it at least 15 times and know every line and be. It's like you're walking over a path you've walked 1,000 times. Like I remember what scene's coming next, or I remember that guy in the background does this at this moment. It's just this weird thing where I haven't been there for 25 years, but now that I'm here, I remember it like it was yesterday. And it's this weird thing, but you don't get that now because no one really watches bad movies again and again and again and again and again. They watch the ones they really, really love because there's just so much content now. Like the movies that I've seen over and over in the last 10 years are very slim. It's like Drive, I've watched a lot. No Country for Old Men, I've watched a lot. But rarely do I, even movies that I fucking loved, I don't get to watch them very many times. Like The Witch, I've seen maybe 3 times.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Like
that's a great topic of something to talk about is what movies since like 2000 have you seen over and over again? Because I'm going through my head as something that's come out in the last 10 years that I've seen over and over again, other than maybe Avengers Endgame or something like that, or Batman vs Superman. I've watched a lot, but there's not much. Like I fucking, how many times I saw Robin Hood Men in Tights?
Yeah, like a lot.
Yeah, but why did I watch that so much?
And if that came out,
it's funny, but
if I saw that today for the first time, I probably wouldn't watch it again. Not because it wasn't good, but like it's just as an adult, you just don't have the time. If you have like 2 jobs or 3 jobs like I do, it's like I just don't have the time.
You know how embarrassing it is to be like, man, this movie was so good. It's so awesome, and it's from like back in the day. I used to watch it all the time. You show somebody who's never seen it before, like, that was dumb.
You said, oh wow, this is not.
It is dumb.
I am sorry.
Yeah.
Like I was 10. Okay.
Yeah, I can't believe I enjoyed that movie that much.
Because you grow up and you hear people say how shitty that movie was, and you're like, what? Howard the Duck is shitty? I didn't think that.
Yeah, I showed my kids that movie, and I forgot all about the scene. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I showed it like 2 years ago. So I got a 5-year-old and a 9-year-old. I'm sitting there watching with them, and they showed the silhouettes of Howard and whatever her name is. I'm like, I'm sitting there. I can't believe I'm showing my kids this. At the same time, I watched it when I was 6 or 7 years old.
That's the justification. Like I think about, like, man, like I'm like, should I show my daughter this movie? I'm like, hold on, I saw that when I was younger than her. Like I saw like Commando and Beverly Hills Cop when I was like 8 or 9 years old, and I'm hearing the F-bomb every 5 seconds.
Fucking score as 48 Hours, by the way.
What's that?
I watched 48 Hours today.
Because
I saw Coming to America, the new one, and I was like, I need more Eddie Murphy, and it showed that, and I was like, I'm gonna watch that. It has the same fucking score as Commando. So Commando score from 48 Hours, yeah. Almost exactly the same. The saxophone, the steel drum. Watch 48 Hours. It's on Amazon, and then watch Commando, and tell me that's not the same fucking. And Sully's even in 48 Hours.
Commando, I've seen more times than any human being should ever see. I remember when I met Vernon Wells, I said, "Yeah, I've seen Commando 100 times." He goes, "You're a very strange person."
Well, awesome. Commando's my favorite Schwarzenegger movie.
Yeah, it's Predator's my favorite, but Commando, like when it comes to the guilty pleasure stuff, like Commando, I know I've seen literally 100 times. It's yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like there's always that one movie though that you saw once or twice when you were a kid, and that kind of loomed large in your head. You're like, man, I need to see that again. I can't find. Then you get it because Commando was that movie, and I didn't see Commando for many years. I popped it in, and man, I was fucking. This is the best movie ever. And it's oddly enough, it's written by one of my comic book heroes, Jeff Loeb. He wrote. Yeah, I saw his name pop up. I'm like, wait a second, is that the same Jeff Loeb? It sure shit is. Yeah, I love Commando. Predator's good too. You know, I mean, you couldn't go wrong with Arnold back in the 80s.
Oh man, that movie! I have such a fond memory of that. When I remember seeing the standee in the store for that one, and at the video store. And my friend down the street, his babysitter rented it, and she had seen it in the theater, and she just kept telling us about it. Said, "Oh." And like I've talked about, I think before, like they didn't show the monster, they didn't show the alien in any trailers or anything, so I had no idea what I was going to see. And so like that was part of the suspense and the excitement of that movie was like, what does this thing look like? And you get those little glimpses where he like rips the spine off in the tree, and you're like, what is that thing? So that whole reveal where he lands in the water and he's in the mud and he walks out, it's just one of the great cinematic moments in history. And then that doesn't stop there, because then you get the scene later where he takes the helmet off and you get another reveal.
Let me ask you a question, both of you guys. What do you like? Which design do you like better? Your camera moved again, Nate. Which design do you like better, the Predator or the Xenomorph? By the way, Richard Stringham, film expert, he is. He says that the scores are not the same, but they're scored by James Horner, which I noticed his name earlier. But yeah, they're very similar, man. The steel drum and the saxophone sound exactly the same, and Sully's in both of them. Anyway, do you like the Xenomorph or do you like the Predator better? Wheels are turning, and Seth said, and Nate. I prefer the Predator myself.
I like the Predator just because it's so bizarre and unique. But it's H.R. Giger.
Yeah.
And like there's no comparison to H.R. Giger in many ways.
Yeah, but the Predator, you get a false face, and then he takes his mask off and he looks like a spider thing. Like there's a spider vagina face.
Yeah. You know? It's I just love the Predator.
Yeah, I do too.
And a lot of it's biased because I like that. That's one of my top 10 favorite movies.
Predator?
Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, I just fucking love Predator. It's like there's just something about, I feel
like Predator better than Alien?
Yes, I feel like I'm in that jungle. I guess also because of when I saw it again, it was a really interesting experience. I still remember it. I think John McTiernan is one of the most overlooked masters of his crafts. Period. Like 2 of his movies are in my top 10: Die Hard and Predator. Like he's one of those filmmakers that I don't hear his name brought up. Him and Tony Scott as well. Tony Scott's one of my favorite filmmakers.
Tony Scott.
I like more Tony Scott movies than I like Ridley Scott movies. Honestly.
What about Michael Scott joints? Threat Level Midnight.
Michael Scott. But yeah, Predator is just. There's just, I think what I love, it's a great team movie. Like everybody in that movie, like they talk about, like Arnold was so generous, because a lot of movie stars will say, I want that line, I want this part, I want that line. And they said Arnold wasn't like that. So Billy stands out, and Blaine stands out, and Dylan stands out, and Mac stands out.
Billy was in 48 Hours.
48 Hours?
Billy was in 48 Hours.
Oh, yeah.
Played Billy.
Yeah. But like, as Sonny Landham did a lot of stuff, but like the thing that people mostly remember him is Predator as Billy, because he's in Poltergeist. He's one of the workers in the backyard, but like Billy was such a great character.
Seth, what about you? Come on, you didn't answer your question. Xenomorph?
It's hard. I like them both equally.
Which movie do you like better, Predator or Alien?
That's fucking tough. I thought about that when I was doing when I did that Alien franchise ranking for the website.
Yeah.
I considered the possibility of doing a complete ranking of the Alien franchise and the Predator franchise.
Like together?
Yeah, but I'm like, how the fuck can I stack these up against each other? Like, I don't know. I have a deep love for both franchises.
I prefer Predator. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah.
Just all of it. It's got like it's almost like a war movie in a way. You got an alien. It's a slasher. It's got just about everything you could ask for. Yeah, and plus a badass design. I'm glad we didn't get the other design. Go ahead, Seth.
Well, I would argue that Predator at least has more good movies in the franchise than Alien does.
It's true.
Yeah, like Predator's kind of like the before From Dusk Till Dawn, because From Dusk Till Dawn gets that credit of being an action movie turned into a horror movie, but Predator does. Like that first part of Predator is just a warfare movie.
Yeah.
It has some of the goofiest parts in the movie, but it's still like it was really interesting. Like the whole stick around thing and
no, come on,
the air arm wrestling match with Dylan, and
that's the best part of the whole movie.
Those are silly, but like I just love. There's so many things about that movie I love. I love just the plane, a Long Tall Sally as they're flying in on the helicopter. There's just I could put that movie on, turn out the lights, and have a blast, and feel like I'm in that jungle with them. You feel like you're there. If you're sitting there saying, "Hey, which is the best film?" I'm going to say Alien is the best movie. It's hard to top Alien. Like Alien is just a masterwork. But when it comes to, I think Predator is one of the best action films ever made. I think John McTiernan gave us two back to back. 87, 88. Just amazing that he made those two movies.
I didn't think about that. Those were back to back. Real quick, Sean Sheridan asked if we had any thoughts on the Silent Night, Deadly Night reboot. Not many.
Are they rebooting that? I didn't know anything about it. I'm not a big fan of those anyway. Yeah.
Garbage Day.
I think they could be better. I think if anything, but it's weird. There's not a lot of Christmas themed horror movies.
There's a lot. No, there's been a lot the last few years.
Or they're usually they're not good. They're not memorable. Like you got Black Christmas is like up here, and then I'm like, well, what else? There's Krampus. I didn't love Krampus.
Really?
I didn't love it. I didn't love as much. Trick or Treat's a whole lot more. I like that a whole lot more than Krampus. I'm
not a big Black Christmas guy.
I mean, it's a great movie. But there's no, I don't know. There's not a lot in the genre of Christmas. I like one of my favorites is this in part of the anthology, the Tales from the Crypt, All Through the House with Joan Collins. Like that's one of my favorite things. And I guess Inside is a Christmas movie, right? I mean, but not.
I've never seen Inside.
Inside's incredible, but it's not. It doesn't scream Christmas to me. So I don't know. There's not a lot of great Christmas movies. I think
that's the only one who's seen the Wrong Turn movie.
I liked it. It's. I see a lot of people running their mouth about it online because it's not the inbred cannibals. It's something entirely different, but there's the twist halfway through. I think is fucking brilliant. It's actually a really good movie, and I would recommend it. I think it's a better made movie than pretty much all of the original franchise.
Who directed this new one?
What the fuck is his name? Mike P. Nelson.
What else has he done? I'm
trying to remember. Like he's acclaimed director. Of course, I don't have my copy here. I lent it out to my friend.
Oh, you bought it?
Yeah. I actually pre-ordered it a few months ago, it was funny because when I saw the trailer for that movie, it did absolutely nothing for me. But then I started to hear about what it was and how it was different from the rest, and it got my interest. So I just blindly bought it, and it's really I think you two would definitely like it. I think. Don't hold me to it.
I'd like to see it at some point, especially since they're leaving behind the inbred redneck whatever.
Hills Have Eyes stuff.
Yeah. Wrong Turn, The Domestics, and something called Summer School are the only movies I see. He barely has anything on the internet for him at all. Okay. Emma Dumont. Oh, is Tyler Hoechlin in that? Superman? His name popped up. It's in the also search for. I don't know. I want to see it eventually. It keeps popping up on Vudu when I go to watch something on Vudu. Buy this now. I'm like, fuck you. Don't tell me what to do, Vudu.
If you watch it, don't turn it off when the credits roll, because as the credits roll, something happens. It continues on, and it's pretty satisfying.
Set up for a sequel. How many Wrong Turn 2s do we need?
Apparently another one. I think I've only seen. I think the last one I saw was Joe Lynch's. He's the second one, right?
Yeah,
that one was not good in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't.
Where they met up to do a hunt or something like that.
That's one of those franchises where I'm like, they made that many, right?
They made like 7 or 8 of them.
I have no idea how many they made.
That's the funny thing too, is with all the people talking shit about the new one. It's like I said last week on our last Friday show, people are holding the Wrong Turn franchise like it's fucking the gold standard, when it's really one step above Leprechaun.
Oh man,
not that good of a fucking franchise. They're fun, and I understand where there's fans.
Wasn't it Leprechaun 2 or 3 where he was pumping air into one boob and the other one got bigger and exploded? Which one was
Leprechaun 3, which was a movie that was not as good as I remembered. I liked that one a lot when I was a kid, and then when I got the Blu-ray collection, I was like, holy shit, this movie's terrible.
I don't think I've seen any of those movies.
I've seen the first one. My brother-in-law, he messaged me. We went on this binge a couple years ago buying just shit at Walmart, horror stuff. He's like, dude, they got all 7 Leprechauns in a collection for $7.50 here at Walmart. I was like, that's still too much for that set. They're not good, in my opinion. I mean, the first one's got Jennifer Aniston before Friends, but I don't know. You guys need to see Killbillies. Sounds goofy, but I dug it.
Killbillies.
All right, we'll have to put you to test there, Richard. I trust I trust him when it comes to films, but that one sounds a little sketchy. Killbillies. Where can you find it? Is it independent, like a Scream Team independent, or is it? I've never heard of it before. I'll have to look it up. Killbillies. Not Jillbillies, Killbillies. Come on now, fat thumb. It's from 2015. Oh, it's on Prime. It's from Slovenia. Is that the right movie?
Slovenia?
Yeah.
There's been a couple of backwoods movies that I've seen that were made. Well, Gary Oldman did one called Backwoods, right? I remember that was decent.
Yeah, the foreign films. Yeah, okay. So this must be it. It says, after a night of partying, amateur model Xenia heads for a photo shoot in the countryside, accompanied by ambitious Mia, apathetic Drakika, and snobby photographer Blitzkrieg. On the idyllic location, supposedly ordinary photo shoot soon turns into a fierce fight for survival. It's It's got a 3.4 on IMDb. Sounds good. All right. So, anything else you guys want to talk about tonight? Steph. Still waiting on that Superman talk.
Superman.
By
I
the
haven't
way,
seen that yet. I haven't seen that new one. I like that guy.
good.
I know him from Everybody Wants Some.
Everybody wants some, yeah.
The Days Confused follow up.
Pitcher, yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
Actually.
I liked him in that. Yeah,
He's good as Superman. This was. I put up a post yesterday. It like I said I missed Superman, and I felt like this gave me hope for Superman again. But the other thing I saw was the Coming to America. Loved it. If you haven't watched that, it was so much fun. And if anybody says they don't like it, then you didn't like the first one. Because
I just showed my daughter the first one.
That's you're just talking about how you base whether or not you show your kids. I showed my kids. I totally forgot about the royal penis is clean.
Oh, I fast forwarded through that one.
Yeah, I didn't fast forward because
my wife's like, "Is there, is there anything in that?" I was like, "Well, just that scene. I think it's the only scene that's got nudity in it." But yeah, like it was fun because I was like pointing out stuff like, all right, they're going to play all these different characters. So can you tell which one's Eddie and which one's Arsenio? Yeah. And then like, even like my wife had forgotten like some of the stars. Like there's a guy in this, because when James Earl Jones came on, I asked my daughter, I was like, do you recognize that voice? And it took her like a couple of guesses. She went, Darth Vader? I was like, yeah. And then I said, there's also another Star Wars guy in this movie. And Brenda's like, what? And I'm like, yeah. It's like, this was the first movie I remember seeing him in. And then, Samuel Jackson when he robs the store. And I was like, she's like, that's Samuel Jackson? Yeah. I was like, I remember that's the first thing I ever remembered him from. When I saw him in like, Loaded Weapon and Goodfellas and the stuff he did shortly after. I was like that, or True Romance, and the scene True Romance. He had a great scene. Before he broke up, it was Pulp Fiction that really made him a big star. He did, all of a sudden he's doing Die Hard with a Vengeance and all that. But
great Die Hard.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. It's not Jesus, it's Zeus, like God of Thunder. Lightning bolt up your ass or something like that. Zeus.
It's amazing.
Fantastic. So.
It's amazing that he didn't blow up sooner, because like even in Coming to America, he still had that impact that he has, that voice, that power, that presence, that even though he's just this guy playing robber number one or whatever, there's obviously something there with him. And
Jackson.
And then the Cuba Gooding Jr. being the guy getting his hair cut. But that scene there just always been great.
I think
he whipped Joe Louis. He whipped Joe Louis's ass.
One of my favorite scenes in the first Coming to America is the very end when Eddie Murphy's playing the old Jewish guy, and he tells the joke, "Waiter, taste my soup." "I don't want to taste your soup." "Good, taste my soup." "No, I don't want to taste your soup." Taste my soup." "Okay, where's your spoon?" Aha. I love that scene. I don't know why.
What do you? I always quote that. What is that, velvet?
It's Kunta. I love that movie.
What was the one? I love the accents. The one where he's like, "I never met a girl give a guy a time of day because his hair looked good."
You ain't never met Martin Luther the King.
Yeah, you ain't never met Martin Luther the King.
If you're on Amazon Prime, if you got it, you got to watch this, because I'm curious to see what you guys think. Seth, are you a fan of Coming to America?
I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's one of Eddie Murphy's best movies in my opinion. Now I need to watch. I've watched that, and I watched the first Coming to America yesterday. But I watched 48 Hours and another 48 Hours. They're both on Amazon Prime today, which I hadn't seen in years. I've forgotten how 80s they are. Let's just put it that way. The shit Nick Nolte says in that the first one. Holy shit. And I kept thinking, like, what the fuck else is Nick Nolte in other than The Mandalorian? I couldn't remember anything else. So I had to look it up. I was like, oh, he's in Blue Chips, that basketball movie. And 48 Hours, and what else was he in? Like, I couldn't remember anything else.
North Dallas 40, and I mean, one of his big ones in the '80s was Down and Out in Beverly Hills.
Right, when he was the bum. Which, I mean, that
Yeah.
wasn't a far stretch for him.
And Cape Fear, the remake of Cape Fear, Prince of Tides. Yeah, I mean,
He's not a big Nolte guy, I guess.
I've never been a
Right.
big fan of his either. But I love him as Quill. Like, he's great. He was perfect.
Good, yeah. It's funny because his voice hadn't changed much from 1982 to 2019.
That's some voice.
Yeah, he's got like the most gravelly voice ever. And Annette O'Toole was in that.
What was that?
40
Somebody was doing, what was it? So some comedian doing an impression of him saying that like Nick Nolte was up for Han Solo. And he goes, "Can you imagine that?" Like, I don't fucking know Chewbacca. I don't know.
Probably caught him some racial slurs in there too. God, the things he said to Eddie Murphy, I'm like, Jesus, they're going to cancel that movie eventually.
Yeah, Walter Hill. He's another one of those great filmmakers that
he does apologize though. What's your favorite Eddie Murphy movie, Seth? I mean, do you like Eddie Murphy?
Yeah, I would say Beverly Hills Cop 2.
No, 2.
Yeah.
I think I prefer 2 over 1.
Tony Scott. I'm still number 1 guy. Just again because I saw that one over and over and over and over. But I do love part 2.
3 over and over and over. Yeah.
I like part 3. I think it's fun.
I like them.
It's not as good as the first 2, but it's there's just something like I love Axel Foley. That's the one I'm most excited to see come back. I'm excited to see Eddie play Axel Foley again. Yeah, they're supposed to.
I was like, thank God. I love those movies.
Yeah, that's the one I've been waiting for is Axel Foley to come back.
Could we get a Trading Places sequel?
I love the little nod to Coming to America where they had the guy.
America too, the new one too.
Yeah.
You should be able to catch it. It's pretty. Yeah. Do you remember Metro? That movie wasn't very good. That's the movie with what's his name? Michael Rappaport.
I remember Metro feeling like because Eddie was moving away from old school Eddie, and Metro was the closest thing to '80s Eddie we'd seen in a while. So
I don't remember it very well.
I remember liking Metro because it felt like it could have been a Beverly Hills Cop type movie or 48
yeah,
like it.
In the mid to late 90s, he started getting very odd, like with Bowfinger and Nutty Professor, and even Dr. Dolittle. I think he did. Didn't he?
He got really into doing all the multiple character stuff that he was playing with and Coming to America. But like, he also got away from that kind of hard R-rated stuff, and Metro was kind of that hard R-rated cop comedy stuff because Beverly Hills Cop 3 was kind of like a PG-13 movie. It didn't feel like the same thing. I think
George Lucas.
Yeah, Metro was that movie that was kind of like, oh, that's a little glimpse of old school Eddie Murphy.
Did you guys ever see Distinguished Gentleman or Boomerang? Those are two of my favorites.
I used to like he was. I watched everything Eddie Murphy. Like I still remember seeing the trailer and in the theaters for Golden Child, where like, I don't know if you remember the trailer, but we were in. I don't know what movie we were in the movie theater and had no idea what the movie was because it looks like this big epic movie and you see like it's like a snow blizzard. It's in Siberia and like. You see a lone figure going through the snow, like just this vast snow ice world.
It looks like Lord of the Rings.
And he pulls up the hood, like and it's Eddie Murphy. He's like, "It's fucking cold out here," or something like freezing. And it's like Eddie Murphy returns in the Golden Child, and that was it. Like it was way before the movie, was coming out.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one in forever. I mean, Eddie Murphy is one of those actors that had hit after hit after hit, and man, I loved him. I grew up on Eddie Murphy, and it was about the mid '90s, like I said, where I started losing interest because he started getting weird. But like, even in the early '90s, he made some good movies. But I'm like, all I want to watch is Eddie Murphy movies now. After watching that Coming to America, I enjoyed it, and there's a couple of actors that I had never seen before that I really like the guy who plays his son and his oldest daughter. Actually one of the daughters in this, his actual daughter, but his oldest daughter, I really liked her also.
Looking forward to seeing Tracy Morgan in there.
Yeah, it was weird
Yeah,
because I would think about Tracy Morgan would kind of do spoofs of Eddie Murphy stuff on 30 Rock.
yeah.
So, but it was nice. Well, I mean, there's a lot of people in
Have
there.
you
Like,
have
not
you
to
seen
mention, he brings back all those old characters too.
have you seen Eddie Murphy do his Tracy Morgan impression?
No.
Oh, go on. It's. I think he was on Kimmel or one of the late night talk shows, and they were saying that he goes. I think it was Jimmy. It was Kimmel. He said, "Yeah, Tracy said that he loves you because you made him ballpark Franks, and when you came over to your house." And Eddie's like, "Yeah, I love Eddie Murphy because he made me the ballpark Franks."
I
he
love
does.
Tracy
He
Morgan,
sounds
though.
just like Tracy, man. It's you made the ballpark Franks.
Yeah, I like there. Somebody I saw something on YouTube the other day about Eddie Murphy talking about the time he visited Prince. I wanted to
Yeah,
watch that because I'd like to hear about that. Eddie Murphy's one of those guys. He did on Netflix that show with Seinfeld, Comedians in Cars
comedians and cars.
episode, and I watched that last summer and or last year during the beginning of the pandemic, and I had to buy new copies of Beverly Hills Cop, and I couldn't find Distinguished Gentleman, which is one of my favorites, and Boomerang. I had to get all these new copies because I couldn't find mine because I needed more Eddie Murphy because I just he's just like horror movies. He's somebody I grew up watching all my life, and
He was the biggest movie star of the '80s.
oh,
He really
yeah,
was.
absolutely.
Yeah,
He's
I
and
used
I'm
to watch.
so happy he's back.
I used to watch that. Best of Eddie Murphy SNL tape
Yeah.
over and over and over. He does a good impression. You talked about the Prince thing. He does a great impression of his brother too on some talk shows. Like just look up Eddie Murphy doing impression because he does Charlie. He's like, yeah, man, you should go down there and do that Prince, but you win that shit, man. And he just sounds just like Charlie. He's like, if I saw my teacher now, I'd punch you in the face.
It's weird how different him and Charlie Murphy are too. Well, Charlie Murphy's no longer with us, but
yeah,
it's a strange. They look very similar, but like they're very different people.
And it's funny as those Chappelle show like
yeah.
Just Charlie telling the stories is what's funny. With like after went inside, made pancakes. But I just rewatching because Chappelle show's back on like on Netflix or Prime or something. I was watching those episodes and just Dave Chappelle playing Rick James.
Fuck your couch.
Oh my god! Well, he's like, "Fuck your cat." It was like, what did the face say? The hand say to the face, "Slap!" Ah! He called him Darkness and the Darkness.
Yeah, Brother Darkness, twin brother Darkness.
Darkness is spreading, cold-blooded.
Cold-blooded.
Rick James, bitch.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy's planning on doing stand up again. That is something I would absolutely want to see because Raw was hilarious. You can't.
Yeah.
Do that,
yeah, I'm so happy that he's back because he's one of those guys I've missed so much. Like again, when you see him when he would show up on Saturday Night Live or show up, it's just like he's a legend. I mean, like those guys who are legends, like him and Steve Martin and Seinfeld, and like when they show up, there's like, holy shit! And Chappelle's in there now. Chappelle's a legend. He's one of those mythical people if he shows up.
Murphy also looks really good because he's in his 60s now.
Yeah,
I think he's now 60 this year.
He's got to be 60. Yeah,
really. Yeah, he was born in 61. But I was going to say, the best part about watching Coming to America, the new one, besides the whole movie, they did, like what are they called, a gag reel or whatever in the credits. And something I hadn't heard in a long time was Eddie Murphy's laugh, and I was just tickled to hear that laugh. He was doing some line, he messed up. I was like, oh god, I miss him.
There's distinctive laugh. Everybody had a distinctive laugh back in the day, like Eddie and Burt Reynolds. Mm-hmm. It's funny, like in my new movie, there's a mention of Burt Reynolds. It's 86, and this guy's obsessed with Burt Reynolds. And the guy that there's a part where he says something about Burt Reynolds. His girlfriend fucks with him about it. And I said, and now you do your Burt Reynolds laugh. And he was like, I don't know, 25. And he had no idea what Burt Reynolds sounds like. So he goes, like, oh man, I'm going to have to dub you over with myself. I'm going to have to do it. Because it's like, that's not Burt Reynolds' laugh. Because he's just like, what was it? Like that laugh that he always had. Like him and Dom DeLuise, their laughter It's
You
just
need to watch some
so.
Shade to get that laugh down. Yeah,
Mr. Robbins' neighbors. Yeah,
I think he brought that back on SNL not long ago.
yeah. When he was back on, he did Gumby.
Yeah,
He did Buckwheat.
he did
And he
all his
did
classic
Mr.
roles.
He was like the masked singer or whatever at Buckwheat under the mask. I'm pretty sure that's Buckwheat.
By the way, you make sure you got to watch this Coming to America, man. Randy Watson's in it, and he sings "We Are Family," and it's when he says "We are family." I got sexual chocolate with me. It's like it's fucking gold. People bitch and complain about fan service. This was the best kind of fan service, if that's what it's called, ever. I loved it. And somebody I never really liked all that much, I never thought she was funny, was Leslie Jones from SNL. She was really good in this. I thought she was really funny.
She's funny, but she's limited.
Yeah.
But when she does what her thing. Like I used to love her on Saturday Night Live when she would like flirt with Colin Jost when she'd be on
yes.
late night.
Yes.
And I used to, and she's one of my favorite parts of the whole Kylo Ren undercover thing, where she's like, "Are you done? Yeah. I haven't had my muffin yet, Matt."
There's a documentary on Netflix about the pandemic, I think, and it's a mockumentary, and she's in it, and she was good in that too. I can't remember what it's called offhand, but it was pretty good. But,
yeah, I did. I'm sure.
I need to know what you think about Coming to America. You need to watch it.
Yeah, it's definitely like something I've been looking forward to. I wanted to show. I was going to watch it tonight. And I wanted to show my daughter the first one first, so we could watch it. The second one makes sense. I still haven't watched WandaVision yet either. I got to watch that one.
The newest episode, or all of it?
Yeah, the last one, I guess it is. This is the finale, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I haven't watched that one yet because I watched it with my daughter, and she's doing schoolwork and everything, and so I got to wait till she gets off because she's been watching it with me. And so we came back after we got our taxes done today and went and got food. And by the time we got back, I was like, well, I got this podcast, so let's watch Coming to America. That we could only have time to get the first one done. And so let's watch the sequel.
Definitely watch it tomorrow. There's no nudity, by the way, if you're worried about that. No nudity that I noticed. But there's Wesley Snipes is good in it too. I was very happy to see Wesley Snipes back.
Another guy to see, because I mean, one of my favorite movies in the 90s in high school was White Men Can't Jump. I watched that movie so much.
But he's another guy in the 90s that really kind of stepped up his game, and then he got to play Blade, which was amazing. Blade came out of nowhere for me and kicked ass. But there was other movies, like he was in that what the hell was that movie called?
Is it Passenger 57? Art of War?
Yeah. There's a couple of them that he was in. There was one like
I always loved him in Major League.
Yeah, he was one of the first one, but Willie Mays Hayes. I look him up. I can't think of the name of the movie. I feel like it's actually 1600, the address of the White House.
Yeah, Murder at 1600 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Something like that. Yeah, but like when I saw him in Major League, I was like, I like this guy. I'm gonna watch anything he's in.
He did what's that other one?
Boiling Point, Rising Sun, Demolition Man.
Demolition Man, yeah.
Sugar Hill was good. Drop Zone, yeah. Money Train. The Fan was good. Played a baseball player.
Was he in Pootie Tang?
What? U.S. Marshals. That's what I'm thinking of.
Was he in Pootie Tang? Maybe not. It's been a while. I saw that pop up today. I was like, I forgot about Pootie Tang. That shit was hilarious.
Yeah, he was in a movie called The Art of War in 2000.
And he was just in he was in Dolomite movie with Eddie, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he played the director in Dolomite. Yeah.
Was he in Fugitive? I don't know. The U.S. Marshals is like a sequel to The Fugitive.
He was in the Fugitive sequel. U.S. Marshals. Yeah.
Yeah, U.S. Marshals is good. He's in a lot of good movies, and then he went to jail or something like that.
Yeah, the Snipes Connery movie is Red Sun.
There's a lot of good stuff, but he was good in
Rising Sun.
Rising Sun.
Yeah.
Red Sun's a western with Toshiro Mifune and I think Charles Bronson.
What about Red Heat?
Red Heat.
Yeah, I think that's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's a Schwarzenegger movie.
He was a Russian guy, right?
Well, him and Woody were in Wildcats together too. The
Wildcat.
Goldie Hawn football movie.
They need to get those two back together in a movie. Woody
I
Harrelson
love
and
it.
Wesley Snipes. Yeah, they were great together.
They had great chemistry.
And New Jack City's, yeah, that's another good one. Oh, you know what else is on Amazon? Harlem Nights. Dead Heat.
Yeah.
That's what. Is it Dead Heat? I thought there was a Red Heat, or was it Raw Deal? Red Deal? Something. Fucking what?
Raw Deal.
Was it Raw Deal?
Yeah, that's a Schwarzenegger movie.
I thought there was a Red Heat.
Red Heat is the one he was a Russian with.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, I forget who was his co-star. Like, I don't think it was.
It was Belushi.
Was it Belushi? Jim Belushi?
John Belushi or Jim Belushi, whatever. The one that didn't die.
Yeah.
Well, he may be dead, but I don't know if he's dead now.
Jim's good.
Yeah,
there's a movie I haven't seen, Taking Care of Business. I used to watch that a lot. Jim Belushi. With him and Charles Grodin.
Is that the one where? Which one is that?
He breaks out of. I think he breaks out of jail to watch the Cubs play the World Series.
Yeah, that's right. He makes a catch in the foul pole or something like. Yeah, I remember that.
He's
actually,
like big Cubs.
I don't know how we got into this, but there's a movie called Mr. Destiny he was in that I really liked.
Oh yeah.
Because he had some really good roles in the 90s also. Mr. Destiny was where he wished that his life was different. He got the big house, hit the game-winning home run when he was a kid, and got married a different woman, but he ends up wanting to go back. And that was a pretty good movie. He was pretty Turner and Hooch, not Turner and Hooch, K9. Which one did he do?
K9, I think, was his.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a little run. I mean, he was on Saturday Night Live as well. Yeah, Jim was one of those. He had his own TV show as well, sitcom.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I didn't watch it though.
Yeah, it was some show with Courtney Rose Thorne or whatever her name is from summer school.
Dude, did you ever see her? If you're talking about nighttime shows, she was on an episode of Conan promoting the Carrot Top movie that she was in, Chairman of the Board. But like you gotta look this up because Norm Macdonald was on the show that night as a guest, and he was out there with her. Like he was the first guest, and she came out after to promote that movie. And Norm just destroys everything. Like he's just making fun of the movie. And you left was it Melrose Place? You left Melrose Place for a Carrot Top movie? and she's like, "Come on, man, because this is my movie." He's like, "What is it?" He goes, "What's it called?" Is it called? She said it was called Chairman of the Board. He goes, "Is board spelled B-O-R-E-D?"
Oh, was it that bad?
He it's very uncomfortable to watch because like he's just trashing this movie because it's a Carrot Top movie, and he's just breaking them out.
I can't believe somebody gave Carrot Top a movie. I guess it was inevitable. Huh. All right. Well, I think we're gonna wrap it up because I go on forever about my favorite actors of the '90s, early '90s, and the '80s. Belushi was definitely right there. He was in Curly Sue also, by the way.
Oh yeah, Curly Sue.
Yeah. But this was fun talking about VHS tapes and kind of seriously anybody who hasn't seen Coming to America, and it's Coming to with the number 2 in it. Check it out. It's on Amazon Prime, and WandaVision was very good. The unfortunate thing about WandaVision is I want more of Lizzie Olsen. She is so good.
And that, I mean, finally, because I mean, honestly, like her character and her presence in those movies before this was kind of like, who cares? Like like this gave her the platform to. People are going to care about Scarlet Witch now. In many ways, I think, because it's like. This was like one of the best things the Marvel's put out, in my opinion. And I haven't even finished it. And like I got this last episode, but there's just something so bold about it and interesting and unique.
They were playing. I think they played it very safe through all those movies for the most part. This was something different. I kept saying before this came out, I was like, I can't wait. Marvel's going to get weird, and it got weird. And yeah, I love her very much. I saw her in that remake of what's the name of that movie? That Japanese movie. with Josh Brolin.
Oh, the Korean film. Oh boy. Right.
Yeah, I was a Korean. Yeah, Old Boy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw her in that, and I really liked her then. And it's funny, people still don't know that she's one of the Olsen twins'
Yeah, that's
sister.
weird. Like
I saw
she
that. I'm
looks
like,
just like him.
yeah, they look very similar. Although the Olsen are scary now, but
My favorite thing she's done other than this was the Wind River movie with the Tyler Sheridan movie. Have you seen that with
I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen it though.
Do not hesitate to watch that movie. Like, I mean, that guy Tyler, he wrote Sicario. He wrote Yellowstone, the Kevin Costner movie. He wrote Hell or High Water, which is a great movie. And Wind River is his directorial debut, I believe. And he wrote it, and it's just fantastic. It's one of Jeremy's best movies, in my opinion, as well. It's got some just amazing stuff in it. Really great writing.
I think she's going to be a big part of the MCU moving forward, bigger than before. Not, and it's not spoilery, but she was excellent. I love Catherine Hahn. Stuff you were watching the other night when I was talking about. What did I say? Oh, I said that I enjoyed this more than Mandalorian, and I'm a Star Wars guy. And the only reason I say that, because you can't really compare the two, but like, this was a show that I was like, I can't believe I have to wait 6 more days to watch the next episode. I wasn't like that with Mando. This one, I was like, I can't wait to see what happens next. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know what was going to happen. I really like the cast. I love Paul Bettany. Catherine Hahn, I don't know what it is about her, but I'm all of a sudden sexually attracted to her. It's weird. I think it's because she's a witch.
She's always good too.
Oh, I love her.
Everything she's ever done.
Step Brothers was my favorite role for her. She was out of control. But it's fantastic. I'm gonna rewatch all of it at one, and like not in one sitting, but like binge it. Waiting for it week to week was great, but I want to go back through and rewatch everything. It's been so good to watch. I can't wait for Falcon and Winter Soldier coming up, not next week, but the following week, because that's more of my what I like for the MCU is the action adventures type stuff.
That was good.
Fun.
I was happy to see Kat Dennings again too, because I always liked her. Going back to, was it Knocked Up? No, what was it? 40-Year-Old Virgin, right?
40-Year-Old Virgin, yeah.
Yeah, and then what's the actress that plays Rambo? I really like her too.
Oh, I don't know her name. Something Paris.
Yeah, she's fantastic. I mean, everybody on there is great, and I just like they're nailing those sitcoms. At the same time, like there's this thing like, what is going on? And I know there's more to this. And then you could just see it's just going towards tragedy and like heartbreak and just the pain. So like that last episode, I haven't seen the new one, but the second to last episode was just so impactful. And that line, one of the best lines I've ever heard, that what is grief but love persevering, like, holy shit. Like that's maybe the best line I've heard all year.
I know that
will hear all year. Well. Yeah, I mean, it just hit anybody. Like when he said, like my wife, her mom's birthday. She lost her mom. It's been really hard on her, and she's. It was just her birthday recently, and I was like, I don't know if she what that line's going to do to her if she hears that. But yeah, it's like. Yeah, it's just fantastic. I hate that I have to wait till tomorrow to watch it.
And then we got to wait a whole year to see her again, because she's not going to show up again until Doctor Strange, which that's the movie I'm probably most anticipating of anything right now, is that movie, just mostly because I love Benedict Cumberbatch. I love Doctor Strange's character. I love his portrayal, and now I'm absolutely smitten with Elizabeth Olsen. Yeah. So good, watch it. Make sure you watch through the credits too. So, because there's two the mid credits and then after the credits. But anyway, let's wrap this up so we can do other stuff.
Yep.
I got to finish rearranging my living room. I was doing that tonight, and I ordered pizza. And I'm like, oh shit, it's almost time to do the show. That's why I was a little bit late. Pizza was good though. Sorry I ate it while we were talking at the beginning. I feel very unprofessional doing that, but this is not professional. So, any final words, Seth? I know you're on the edge of your seat.
No, I'm having trouble with my leg right now.
I figured as much.
I'm kind of off camera here.
Yeah.
No final last words. It was a fun conversation. I definitely. It has me jonesing. Our earlier conversation has me jonesing to get my VHS collection.
I'm
And
curious to see what you have, man.
I have quite a bit, not a whole lot. I have some of the James Bond movies.
I didn't have any James Bond movies. That's awesome.
Yeah, I have the 4 Highlander movies.
Seriously, you should do a live video while you're going through the box.
Yeah, I have. I remember, like, what was it, like 99 or 2000 when they re-released some of the Universal monster movies. I got some of those, including the special Dracula in that plastic case, and it had the alternative score from Philip Glass.
Oh,
Yeah, it's really cool.
that's cool.
Yeah.
You guys
It's been so long since I looked at them. They've been in a box in my parents' basement for, like, I don't know, maybe the last 10 years.
So you're gonna get that box out and then get all nostalgic and get very excited. Does anybody have a beta player? I do not. I've only seen one once in my life.
I'm hoping to get, like, my basement all set up at some point soon. Get some shelves and display them.
That'd be cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never.
That sounds scary.
What was that?
He says he's got a few unlabeled beta tapes. That sounds very scary to me.
I never had beta. Like we didn't get a VCR until maybe '84 is what I think it was, and I remember my mom worked at Walgreens, and there was a guy that worked there, a younger guy who he had one of those things where you could copy movies when you'd rent them. You know, he would for a certain amount of money, copy some movies that you wanted, and that's how I got my first, like. And I remember, like, we talked about Beverly Hills Cop. Beverly Hills Cop was one of those ones, like, on the 3 movies on one tape thing. It was Beverly Hills Cop, Brewster's Millions, and European Vacation.
Yeah.
And I remember watching those 3 movies over and over and over.
Underrated.
Yeah. So.
Taking a poke. I love that movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Like. Those, that's one of those movies where people are like, oh, that movie's so terrible. I'm like, no, it isn't. I love that movie. I love European Vacation. It's maybe not the best of the first 3, but
it's probably the worst of all 4 of them, because Vegas Vacation is pretty good too.
Vegas Vacation's fun, but I still
got a car.
Part 3. Oh, the thing about European Vacation, it's the raunchiest one.
Yeah,
it's kind of the more R-rated, really, out of all of them.
Like the scene where Chevy Chase gets in bed with another woman, she wraps her legs around him and she can't get out. Like, no. that's I love that movie. They're all really fun.
Rusty goes to the strip club, and then he has the girl in Germany.
Yeah. Sneaks
off with them, and
you gotta love the putting on the Ritz theme when they're changing all their clothes and getting all dressed up in fancy weird clothes from the late 80s. Oh God, I love that movie so much.
Keep running into Eric Idle and hurting him.
He's so nice. And he's like, oh, it's over there. And blood squirts out.
It's just a flesh wound. Yeah, and the one guy that, like you said, he gets in bed with that woman. The guy that's in the bathroom with her.
Yeah.
What's his name? He's the guy from, like, Harry Potter and. Yeah. And it just. It's just funny.
She's talking dirty to him. She's got the thing on her face. He's like, oh, he's
the sound of music spoof. The shit's been around for a very long time. There it is, my mother's homeland. Grandma's from Chicago.
Or when they're going around Big Ben. There's Big Ben.
Oh yeah, I can't get left. Big Ben Parliament.
Chevy Chase was gold back then too. So.
I talked to Jason Lively when I saw him at Fright Night, and I talked about. He's a fun guy, and I talked to him about that movie. I was like, "What was it like?" He goes, "Oh man, it was tough." I said, "Was Chevy as a big an asshole as they say?" He goes, "Well, there were times where him and Amy were fighting on set, and it was like." The director, Amy Heckerling, he's like, they were fighting on set, and it was like being at the table when mom and dad are fighting. It was really awkward. And he goes like that. He goes, I remember one time where Amy was given direction, and Chevy's like, I'm not doing it that way. And Amy said, well, how about I give you one your way and you give me one my way? And he goes, oh, you mean one that's not funny? And and he talked about the scene where they're on the train and they're like flipping and hitting each other. And he goes, that was like, it was like he really kind of hurt me there. he was kind of going for it. And,
is that why they always had different Audreys and different Rusties? Because nobody liked working with Chevy Chase.
Nobody wanted to work with Chevy again.
Except for Beverly.
What was there was somebody? I think it wasn't Chevy. I'm thinking of Val Kilmer. There's that story where, John Frankenheimer, when he took over the Dr. Moreau movie, and he said that he couldn't stand Val Kilmer because he was such an asshole, and ego-driven. And
really?
I think they said once the last shot of Val Kilmer was done on that set, John Frankenheimer said, "Get that son of a bitch off my set. I don't want to ever see him again."
That's funny.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add to the VHS talk before we wrap up? Conversation overall.
Yeah, I mean, it was just it's one of those times in history that'll never happen again, and the people who were there, will always remember it because it was such an exciting adventure. Like when movies, I mean, going to the movie theater is a big thing, and hopefully we never lose that. I don't think we will, but just there's something about when you would go into the video store, the possibilities of what you were going to see and read about. Like you said, you'd pick it up and you'd read about it. Like, what is this? You see those posters or those images on the back, and your mind would start going to work. I don't think people do that now. I don't think people, when they're flipping through Netflix and they just see those random images, and then maybe they watch a trailer or they don't, and then they're like, and like, I mean, we all know how it is. You go, you flip, and then you don't end up watching anything. Yeah, because you waste so much time looking, and we're just so spoiled now.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not like, again, you had those movies and that's what you had. You didn't have room to bitch or say, well, I'll just, no, like, we're going to sit here and watch, like Father, like Son again and again and again. That's what we're going to watch because that's what I rented.
When I rented the first time, I think I watched it 5 times that weekend. So, yeah, I know I got this. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to get my $3 worth.
What else was there to do? I mean, there was literally nothing else to do back then. But
Thanks, bud.
Watch the movie again. Just before, we had Atari and shit like that, but
most of when I was growing up was NES and Genesis and all that stuff. So, but still,
it was the first generation to have, movies at your disposal. Like you didn't have to go to the movie theater. You didn't have to wait for it to come on TV. That was something else I was going to bring up on the show. I just remembered I saw a conversation online. I know we were like 2 hours and a half, but it made me laugh because this guy was talking about, he was telling some young guy he'll never understand about remakes and reboots. It's not the same. The new Michael Myers sucks. The new Freddy sucks. The new Jason sucks. You don't understand. We got to see the original, and kids see the original. And then this guy was like 38, 39. And he was saying that, all those movies came from Generation X. Like, they came from us, those characters. And I'm like, no, they didn't. I said, the Michael and Freddy, they came from the baby boomers. Wes Craven and John Carpenter and those guys created those characters. Like, we didn't. He goes, first of all, you're not even Generation X. I was like, but Generation X, we created Ghostface and Jigsaw. And, like, those guys are my age. Like, that's what we gave the horror genre. And like, no, Wes Craven's not a Gen Xer. He's not a kid of the 80s. He was a kid of the 50s and the 60s, So I don't know. I just think that's funny where they're like, this guy was taking ownership of these characters that he had nothing to do with creating. It's like, no, you just were a fan.
Yeah. That's all we are.
And it doesn't, and again, and it doesn't matter if you saw it then or saw it now. You know, I always go back to that Hannibal Buress joke where he said, you know, I discovered Jimi Hendrix because Hulk Hogan came out to Voodoo Child on WCW. And like, that doesn't mean that I couldn't love Jimi Hendrix music just because I wasn't there in 1967, you know,
Yeah.
or 68. You can love it just as much. A kid can put on Nightmare on Elm Street today and love Nightmare on Elm Street just as much as I do. It doesn't matter that I've spent 40 years with it.
That's called gatekeeping anyway.
I hate those type of people, the true fans.
Yeah.
You know, or as I call them, the horror ambassadors.
The Star Wars fans are worse about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just fandom in general. You always have the bunch that are just, they act like they're superior and they have the superior opinion.
You want to have new generations like this stuff so it can live on. You know, I mean,
yeah.
Is Nate's camera frozen on you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's making a goofy face. Should I blow it up? There we go. Well, I don't know what to say, Nate. I don't know if Nate's coming back or not. Yeah, thanks a lot. It was a good. Yeah, he's gone. It was a good show. It was a good time. Seth, rest your area. And what are we doing Tuesday? Do we even know? Oh, Night of the Living Dead. So anybody who's going to watch the Horror Syndicate discourse on Tuesday, we're talking about the immortal classic, and yes, it is an immortal classic, Night of the Living Dead, George Romero's 1968 film. Probably touch on the 1990 Tom Savini remake, which is the one I saw first, and I adore that movie. I think you're wrong. I don't think Star Wars is the most overrated franchise ever.
No.
I don't know. That's a good question, though. What is the most overrated franchise of all time? I'm gonna say Leprechaun. Anyway,
I don't think too many people like those.
No, that's a good question, though. We should ask Nate, even though he's not here, what he thinks the most overrated franchise period is. Overrated. I don't know. It's hard to say for me. It'd have to be something that I don't like. Fast and the Furious, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, thanks for joining. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Tell your friends all about the Horror Syndicate. We're celebrating our 5th anniversary on April 12th. So we're going to do something special. If you want, go to, I forgot where we sell our shirts. Teespring. Go to Teespring. Get yourself a Horror Syndicate shirt. Show some support. Every dollar goes right in my fucking pocket. Anyway, have a good night. It doesn't. It doesn't give me. It's like $2 anyway for each shirt. Anyway, have a good night. Tuesday. What's that?
It's just funny because, like, you know, you see all these videos where people are promoting their merchandise and they're like, it doesn't go in my pocket. It goes to the, you know, blah, blah, blah. And you're just like, it goes straight to my fucking pocket.
It goes straight to my pocket. It goes right to my fucking PayPal. But honestly, it's the streaming service. Honestly, this is $25 a month. So I got to pay for it through PayPal. Anyway, you guys have a great evening. Watch some horror tonight. Watch the Coming to America or WandaVision or wherever the hell you're going to watch.
Or the Howlin' 3, the marsupials.
You just had to do it.
Or in your case, Assault on Precinct 13.
Oh, God, dude.
I have no excuse.
The 2005 masterpiece?
No, I'm talking about the John Carpenter masterpiece.
It's become a thing to where I'm like, I'm not going to watch that movie because you're like, you need to be, you know, what is that called? Reverse psychology. Don't watch it. It's okay. Whatever. I don't care. Don't watch it. At least I watched Superman and Lois, which was fantastic. Watch that. But I pity the fool that does what I did, which was watch it on the CW app where there's a fucking commercial every 2 seconds. Fuck that. And there's 4 commercials. So anyway. Oh, did you hear they're gonna put Supergirl on in the middle of like the season of Superman and Lois? They're stopping on April 3rd or March 30th, and they're gonna do Supergirl for a couple weeks, and they're coming back on May 18th. It's like, well, that's gonna kill fucking momentum, you assholes. Anyway, it's a good show.
Yeah, like why would they do that? I mean, they always take these long breaks, but
They do,
it's
but
like,
Supergirl is a terrible show in my opinion. It
and
was
like
mediocre at best to terrible.
Superman and Lois was like surprisingly really good.
Gave me hope again for Superman. So you
Yeah.
know, I love a good Superman story, and this has got a little bit of everything I like, but none of this. Anyway,
Not yet.
have a good evening.
The whiny little kid
Yeah,
will.
oh God, I still think he's going to be a bad guy. I think he's going to end up.
Yeah.
I said that before I ever saw it, but I think he's going to be a bad guy.
Have you watched the second episode yet, or just the first?
Yeah, I watched both. I watched them both.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still think
we'll talk about that some other time. We'll talk about that show.
We still got to talk about Superman 3.
What's that?
We still got to talk about Superman 3.
No, yeah, we should complete our Superman series and then give our thoughts on the show.
By the time we get finished with the movies, the show will probably be over. So
at our pace, yep.
Yeah. All right, everybody, have a good night. Watch some horror. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll see you on Tuesday to talk about Night of the Living Dead.